hello. A very good evening, good day, good morning to you. Welcome to another live stream with me, 320 Sim Pilot. Today we're trying out X-Plane 12. It's a big day, X-Plane 12 release version. So we've of course had the early versions that were in development still. This is the release version. They say this is a release product. So let's take it for a spin today. We're going to do a nice Manta Sun livery flight from Nice, not that sunny here, up to Luton. And yeah, it should be good fun. We haven't flown the ToLiss A321 for a long time, so I'm happy to be back in it. This is where we started the channel with this aircraft, so a good bit of fun to try it out. So yeah, I am on that sim, as you can see. So if you're going to fly along, the route is available in the Discord. Let me just check that the Streamlabs bot is awake. No, it's not. It used to automatically start, but there we go. That is now coming online. And let me just set up the overlay. We're starting from Lima Foxtrot Mike November, and we're going to Echo Golf Golf Whiskey. We're going to be the MXZ or Manta 321. Hence, we have to use the A321. It's the law that we use the correct aircraft when we have that call sign. So here we go. It is a cold, dark day, of course. The winter solstice in the northern hemisphere here, anyway. So I thought it'd be nice to do a little stream. Should really be a Christmas-themed stream, but maybe we'll squeeze one of those in before Christmas as well. Mark, good evening to you over on YouTube. James Atkinson as well. I hope you're doing very well. Igloo Foo, Nick K, Ewald, Mr. Espresso, Noor, Ryan D, Michael John. Great to have you all here. James, Simfly UK, Chris, MJO, Brian, and yeah, it's great to have you all join us over on Twitch. We are on Twitch as well, live. Tom Corwine, hello to you. Igloo Foo, Hockey for Life, Infinite Ewok. Great to have you here. It's been a little while. Infinite Ewok says, just got some exciting news I wanted to share. I've passed my online assessment for a cadet pilot program with an airline. Thank you for being an inspiration. That is amazing. Absolutely fantastic. Yeah, passed the online assessment. Yeah, great. So keep it going. And yeah, absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Enjoy it. And good luck with the rest of the assessment. Just Eddie, good evening to you. James Atkinson as well. James is the Easy. There we go. Easy 257. Lovely. We are on VATSIM, as I said. Let me just check how that is going. So there's no controllers here. That's absolutely fine. I'm not expecting much air traffic control on this route. It's a bit of a strange route. Really, I just wanted to do one of our standard routes, but in X-Plane 12, so we can just focus on what's different, how we feel. We can compare it to... We've done a lot of flights like this over the years, and I thought this would be a nice, simple flight for us to just get our teeth stuck into to test out this this new version. This is an updated ToLiss A321. We're on quite a late version now of this, which is quite nice. And we are... sitting at obviously default Nice airport, so all the scenery is default. I haven't installed any yet, so you're going to get a taste of just what the pure X-Plane 12 experience is when you load up. It's got a lot to compete with in terms of Microsoft Flight Simulator. You know, when you load that up, it looks absolutely stunning. Now you'll notice the weather. It's a little bit frustrating. I've used convective weather because it shows off the simulator quite well. Or it's one of the new things, I should say. I don't need to show off the simulator, but it's one of those newer sort of updates, especially with the rain. But I can't get real world weather to download, which is part of the reason I'm using convective weather. I thought if I'm going to choose, I might as well choose the one I want. I wanted to use real world. It's not downloading. Don't know why. Every other time I've used X-Plane 12, it's been fine, but there we go. Thanks for those follows to Sky Captain, MCG, and Fenjo. And yeah, I'm now just checking the streams are merged. Infinity Works asking if I went through a similar program. I don't say how I became a pilot just because I don't want to be too specific. There's only a few routes, and I would highly recommend cadet schemes if that's possible. Or I just, you know, having that first job, if possible, lined up is always a good thing, isn't it? It can't be a bad thing. You just don't want to get... There's only a strange thing with the current licenses. If you get stuck with an airline that then fails, that's the only thing. Security Lizard says, X-Plane 12 looks to be coming along right. I have a long debated using Microsoft Flight Simulator and X-Plane interchangeably. X-Plane has some incredibly coveted planes like the 340, 756 and A350. Indeed, and that's why I'm sat here now. I mean, we have Airbuses in Microsoft Flight Simulator, but I do enjoy loading up X-Plane 12. I absolutely love the default A330. I almost used it today, but I thought, no, we'll stick with an aircraft we know, and then we'll... because there's a few things still going on with that 330 that we know. I did try it out, and it's not complete yet by any means. Simfly UK, thanks so much for your £4 super chat. Really appreciate it. That's very kind. Simfly UK says, have a beer on me. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you, Simfly. That's really very kind. Thank you for the donation, and have a great Christmas yourself. Really, really appreciate it. Yeah, very kind of you. And Romana, thanks for your subscription as well. Right, where are we? The rain on the ground is beautiful. Yeah, frankly, the X-Plane 12's absolute party piece is the rain. It's better than any other simulator. On the ground it looks nice, but even on these windscreens, this is just a better effect than Microsoft Flight Simulator. It looks like a graphic. It doesn't look perfect by any means, but it is superb. And you'll see when you run the wipers and so on. In fact, we can run the wipers now. They've got some power. It actually interacts with it. You know, it is significantly better than what we get in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I'm just going to say that. I mean, that's just the rain I'm talking about there, but yeah, it's really very nice. I like it a lot. Look at that. And it gets affected by the wind just exactly as you would expect. Thanks for the follow badge, Corrator. Appreciate it. Aaron says, hey, I might join you mid-flight into Washington in the PNG 738. Excellent. Enjoy that. Enjoy. Sounds great fun. Mark says, watch another stream this afternoon, and someone said live weather wasn't working on X-Plane 11. Ah, there we go. Live weather is not working here either. Right. What was I doing? So, yep, flight plan is available. You can see it. I have noticed in this release version I'm struggling with frames. That could be my computer. I'm going to install a new SSD to free up some space on the recommendation of Hayden, because my SSDs are completely full at this point, which is really pretty bad. So let's just pull up our chart. We got Nice to Gatwick. There it is. And we can load up the aircraft. It's sort of sitting here in a powered up, but otherwise not really ready to go state. So let's treat it. It almost looks like it's been secured. All the lights are off. So we'll treat it as if we've just got on board. Yeah. Yeah, that's what we'll do. So this is, like I say, this is updated for X-Plane 12, this version of the ToLiss A321. Good stuff. Let us get on board, and then we're going to do engine masters off, norm, weather radar off, landing gear lever down, wiper selectors off, batteries check, and you can see that they're actually on. But we're going to put them on and auto. The voltage is good. We got AP fire test. All good. External power on. Then we're going to check that we have oxygen, oil, hydraulic fluid, speed brakes retract, disarmed, flat levers 0, and parking brake on. We got pressure. A bit low on the accumulator, but when they close those doors, that will top up. Thanks for the follow to Roadfred. And Ivan. Yeah, great. So, yeah, unfortunately weather isn't working. It is a bit frustrating. So luckily there's just no controller. We can do what we like, really. What we're going to do is, I've written down the weather. So just as I happen to have written it down, I know that the QH is 1001, which is synchronized. That puts us about pretty close to sea level. Yeah, just probably about 1003 actually. You can see that change, and we'll put in a random altitude in here just until we get that set up. Good, right, let's go into our flows. So crew supply, yeah, it's left on. Ground control, nav. Seatbelts off, we haven't fueled. Strobes to auto, nav lights on. Econ flow, I don't know how busy we are yet, so we'll leave it as is. Those temperatures are no good, somewhere there will be absolutely fine. Fuel pumps are all on. Engine fire tests we would do. Good. Wouldn't have all this nonsense on the third panel unless someone was sitting there. Oh, they'll double click. And these are all on. Moving down, we've got iris and light greater than 7. That's absolutely fine. It's got our brake pressures moved up. Now they've closed those cargo doors. So that's good news. Any difference in the X-Plane 11 and 12 version of the ToLiss? Any upgrades? I don't think so. It looks better to me. The graphics all look better. I don't know if that's a function of the update or whether that's just a function of the simulator. But if you look at these texturing around here, I mean, look at the display panels and so on. It's definitely improved over what we had in X-Plane 11. We'll do a bit more looking through the flight. I mean, it's not perfect. It's not, you know, the best visual model of an A321 we've ever seen anymore. Or maybe an A321 is, but, you know, it looks good enough from here, though, when you sit here especially. Look at the light shining on that panel. That's nice. I really like that. I have not used the flight back to A320, I'm afraid. Good. Right, that's all done. That's done. Switching panels norm. Weather radar we're going to leave off. And transponder is in off. Good. Right. So, they've already armed the doors. Cabin crew keen to go, clearly. But we, yeah, you wouldn't arm the doors with all this gear around. So next step is to get ourselves an idea of what we want to load up the airplane with. So we're going to take a fuel figure of 8.9 tons of fuel, and we're going to do this all through the magic ISCS. Loading, and we have a zero fuel weight of 72.2. Oh, we're heavy. We have a lot of passengers today. Cargo is a bit unrealistic. That's probably looking at 200 passengers. Yeah, 72.1. There we go. 200 passengers, yeah, quite normal in a 321 these days, no problem. With a fair few tons of fuel, gives us a reasonable CG, and 8.9 tons of fuel required. Let's go. We don't know if the weather's right. This was planned with an average wind component of -29. It's a bit of a headwind, so hopefully it's not much worse than that. But I'm just going to put on 8.9 required. I'm going to put a ton on 9.9 fuel. Apply the load. Good stuff. So now we're loaded up. We have 9.9 tons of fuel. Seatbelts can go on, and start loading up the box. Oh, it's nice to use all this stuff again. It's been a little while. Just jumping into the chat briefly. I want to get going by 45. That's our off blocks today. That is our off blocks today. Let's see. How's it going? Elitis Maggie says the rainwater physics in Microsoft Flight Simulator hasn't really been implemented yet after 2 years. Not sure when they're going to get around to it. Maybe 2025. Yeah, and that's another thing I've noticed. If you have a soaking wet runway in X-Plane 12, the way it interacts with the aircraft and the sliding and the braking reduction is noticeable. It's really very good. I'm really impressed with that. So contaminated runways seem to be a sort of thing in X-Plane 12, which I haven't noticed before. Whether that was true in X-Plane 11, I don't know, but it seems to be very pronounced. If you've got a soaking wet runway and you just stand on the brakes and not a lot happens in X-Plane, it's very good. Very good indeed. Evening, Dougal McTavish. I hope you're doing well. And yeah, it's been a long time coming, X-Plane 12, but here we are. It does sort of feel to me like yesterday it was announced. I mean, it's amazing. So yeah, in terms of updates to the ToLiss, Aaron, I don't know in particular. There will be obviously a list somewhere, but you'll see it as you go through, see if you think it's any different. Right. Let's go to that's data, init A. So, in fact, I'm trying to remember. I haven't used this in a long time. Can we init this? Let's see. Arsenal says, I want X-Plane 12, but my heart is not there since Microsoft Flight Simulator seems better graphics for VFR. Yes, it is. That's the end of that discussion. No doubt about it. If you're doing VFR, Microsoft Flight Simulator, this is not... X-Plane isn't there for that. However, X-Plane has some... There are some advantages. If you fly airline and flying, not only do you have some nice aircraft, and the sim is quicker to load up, which I quite like, and you get sort of strange things like this ToLiss autosave situation and so on, which is really... These are powerful things. The default airports in X-Plane, we're using default airports here, and just look at it, you know, like it's just so much better than Microsoft Flight Simulator's defaults. So much better. Now, the autogen and everything else, nowhere near, but as an airport, as a representation of Nice, I'm not going to complain. Not going to complain. Now, I know Microsoft Flight Simulator now includes them. I think it actually has a really good Nice built into it these days, so they are working on it, and I'm not trying to criticize it, but there are some excellent default airports. And there's a lot more of them. You're more likely to find them looking okay in X-Plane than you are in Microsoft. Richard B, good evening to you. Great to see you again. It's been a little while. I hope you're doing very well. Merry Christmas to you, and thanks for stopping by. Hopefully we'll see you around in the new year, in a few more streams, and I hope you're having a great time. It's yeah, it's great to see you again. Philip, good to see you as well. Let me see. So, has that worked? It seems to have worked. Manta 321, Cosnex 11, cruising at 340, align IRS on an aircraft with these nice screens. I would expect it to auto align on the GPS, but there we go. So data, and it's a flight plan time. Now the wind I've got is sort of a southwesterly wind. It's 177 for gusting 6. Now we don't have real weather, so let's depart from. It would normally be 04 right, so it'd be 22 left. Because they land on 22 right. We are planning to go via... not how you do it. Navitab. It's been a little while. Bad odds, 7 Charlie. Let's just bring up the charts. LFMN. Uh-oh. Whoops. Oh. I've had this before. I do remember how to fix it. I don't understand. There's nothing available for anything. Slav says, hello Captain, I wanted to thank you since you've helped me a lot to learn how to fly properly. Greetings from Bulgaria. Greetings to you. Thanks very much. Really appreciate it. I hope you're doing very well. Great to have you here today. What's going on here then? What have I missed? I feel like this should just work. And it always has done. And I checked it recently. So what have I missed? You got a link account in the AirTab settings. Yeah. Where's that? Yeah, where is the Navigraph link up? Why can't I see it? Cog next to FPS. That just gives me that. External media. Click on that and I get that. Oh dear, this is not a good start. I had this working recently. And I linked to the account and everything. Providers. Okay. Thanks for the follow to Captain West. And stand by, 1 second, we'll be right back. Great, thanks everyone. Solved it. It was in Providers. I mean, honestly, I would never have guessed that. So thank you to all of you. I've definitely done that several times now in X-Plane. I suppose because we keep updating to the new version. At least the AirTab has stayed. Right. Let's load up the airport. Ashley Fox, thanks for the follow. Ashley 78, sorry. Airport, airport, airport. We're there. 2 left to depart. Hotel 3. Nothing too exciting to report. And depart via Badar. And we got 6 X-ray, 6 Zulu. Talk amongst yourselves. Gone right past it. Well, it must be 7 X-ray and 7 Zulu now. Yep. That's fine. My database is obviously not up to date. So yeah. Oh well. There we go. So it'll be close enough, I'm sure. Let's do the left turn out. That's a bit neater. I like the look of that one. So that would be the 7 Zulu. So we take the 6 Zulu. Insert. That should go out. MN222, MN223. Let's just check on the nav display as well. After all, this is what the airplane is going to fly, so worth having a look at. There you go, looks sensible. 246, 248. 246, 248, and then over we go via the Nice VOR, and then up north to Ballots. Lovely stuff. MSA 12.5, absolutely outrageous MSA. Not really useful initially, because of course, down at 3.1 for the first section. Good. And then we got the rest of our route, which we can see if we go to charts. Badodds, Upper Zulu 1-2. We used to have to type all this in. To Bilal, Upper Mike 733 to Idavo. And obviously the real aircraft often, depending on your airline, do download these things, but you'd still check it yourself. Because occasionally it downloads the wrong thing or misses a point. Manver, this is let's check with everything in here. This is yeah. Which is direct from Bagby and Idavo. Good. Okay, so the route has worked. Secondary, we're going to copy in the active. In at B time. Look at that rain out there. That's just lovely. Really like it. Good. So, Ah, it's pre-populated in it B. So 72.1. Yeah, close enough. Block 8.9. 8.9. Yes, but we wanted extra. I wanted 9.9. It seems to have loaded everything in. So I'm going to put 9.9 in. Landing at 77.2. How does that work with our max landing weight? 77.8. Okay. We don't want to save too much fuel. We shall see how that goes. We'll keep an eye on that. Interesting. Does happen. Does happen. You can find yourself in this situation. Good stuff. Jumping into the chat. I really like X-Plane 11, but to me X-Plane 12 feels like X-Plane 11.5, says the HCK. The A330 feels botched, however the 73 seems on par with default 320 NEO. I'm going to say, I'm going to be a little bit... everyone's entitled to their opinion, and I can see what you're saying. And yes, this does feel like a progression of X-Plane 11, not a new simulator, and it is very much so. The only thing I'd say is I think the 330 they provided is better than the default 320 NEO we got in Microsoft Flight Simulator at launch, which was almost unusable, unflyable. I mean, it would bank during flare and things like that. However, fly-by-wire, of course, have just done a fantastic job bringing that to an amazing level. Right, in it B, perf time. Let's go. We are a really heavy 321. I wonder if it could even do flat 1. Pretty low flexes. Let's go flaps 2. 2 left, and it's a totally contaminated runway. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to force it to toga as if it's a flooded runway. So there we go. So we'll do no shift, flaps 2, no flex, B1, 42, 42, 46. Oh. You'd be amazed how easy that is on the airplane as well. So you see how those... I love that. You can see the rain blowing on the window, which is just what it does in the aircraft. And you see it's going that direction. That's a good sign because it suggests that we're going to take off facing into the wind then, aren't we? So that is a good sign. Right. Apologies. So there we go. That is all done. Close that. Let's get rid of... Oh, no, let's not do anything. Let's set up the airplane. So we're full. We'll get rid of the econ flow. James says, I guess I find the flight physics and feel of the aircraft and X-plane to be better than Microsoft Flight Simulator. For me, generally, I can see why you'd think that. There are some aircraft in Microsoft Flight Simulator that I feel just as good to me. I think there's a... It seems like in Microsoft Flight Simulator you have to put... Some developers are able to capture it and some don't quite so much, I think. I think it's down to each aircraft. So some of the default aircraft just... Yeah. They have not had the same level of attention as a payware aircraft. Don't feel quite like you'd expect. That's my impression of it so far. That's my current thoughts anyway. A developing, evolving opinion. Although I've had that opinion for a little while now. Good stuff. Right, I have a checklist here. So, 4 starts will be coming up shortly. Actually, let's get the airplane fully ready. Harvey, thanks for the follow. Good, that's available. See what signs are on. Let's get rid of some of the ground equipment. Love the ground handling. Thank you. Doors are all closed. And I love better pushback. Now, how do we get out of here? I do... Oh, what is my... I have a shortcut for Avitab. I've totally forgotten it. So, back on our airport chart. We really do need the actual parking chart as well. Ridiculous. Yeah, look at this. Why don't they have the line on there? I don't know, but it's just the thing they do in these. So we're going to face that way. So our tail's going to go that way. So, oh, this takes me back.
Run to cockpit, please show me where you are.
Filling the screen with as much as we can.
Run to cockpit.
So they're going to connect. In terms of a brief, so we discussed the high terrain. This is all pretty straightforward. Any speed limitations? I can't see any. So the plan is to accelerate and retract the flaps as per normal. Yeah, we can see that because our clean speed is quite high, 235 knots, but no problem. And we are going to climb up to our stop altitude of initial climb 130, which is luckily above the MSA. We've got a low QNH today, so it might actually be 140 on a day like this. They might adjust it with that weather. And there we go. Nick, hey, thanks so much for your £10 super chat. Really appreciate it. Nick says, thanks for the vids, etc. Got to go. I'm a sound tech in a theatre and it's Panto season. Happy Christmas. Thanks. Excellent. Great to hear the Pantos are all up and running as normal this year. Absolutely fantastic. Enjoy that. And thanks so much for your very, very kind super chat. Really appreciate it, Nick. Thank you for the £10. We'll see you next time and have a great evening. I hope that all goes well. And yeah, it should be good fun in the Panto season. Brilliant. But yeah, thank you for the very kind donation, Nick. Really appreciate it. Lovely. So, bye-bye. Let's get on 1228. Ah, yes. My Logitech radio panel doesn't work anymore in X-Plane 12, and I don't know why. What do I need to do? Probably need to get some new driver for it, I suppose. 1228. Anyway, without any controllers today, should be fine. Looks like an updated QNH. Now, this is cheating. You're not supposed to do this for the QNH, but I can see the pressure's dropping. Sorry, rising. So, yeah. There we go. So they're ready to go. Let's just run our... sorry, yeah, so we were briefing, weren't we? So that is our departure out over the train. Any problems on any of these legs up to 248, and we'll make a right turn out to sea to hold. If we get onto this leg, I'll make a left turn out to sea to hold. And then after Nice, I would imagine we'll be absolutely fine. We've got to be below 100 at Nice, so I'm going to leave it in the managed climb mode. Unusual that, but that would be for the arrivals. We are heavy. We are over max landing weight for an immediate return. And we are taking off toga thrust, so it's going to be all the clicks forwards, 2 clicks back at acceleration altitude. If we reject, max reverse, max auto brake down to a stop. It's a very slippery runway. Absolutely flooded out there. Great stuff. We've talked about the taxi, so we're taking Sierra, and then we're going to go on to Hotel 1 to cross over and take off from 22 left, which is what we have in the box. Good stuff. Right, doors are all armed. 14,000 is in there. Get the APU bleed on. Okay, before start checklist. Copy prep is completed. Gear pins and covers removed. Signs are on and auto. ADIRs are in nav. Fuel quantity, we've got 9.9 tons, and it is balanced left and right. Takeoff data is set, and we've got the Barrif of 1007. Right, let's go. So, those are closed. We've got windows closed. Get the beacon on. Get the transponder to transponder. Right below the line, windows, doors closed, beacon is on, mobile phones off, thrust levers idle, parking brake can go to release. I will just announce it to the world. Let me just check my buttons are working. Flex versus toga. I've just decided to go toga because I'm going to say that the runway is actually flooded over 3 millimeters of standing water. So it would count as a contaminated runway, so you'd have to go toga for that. Because it is absolutely soaking out there. Now, let me know how the sounds are. I've been playing with the sounds a bit, and I've reduced the external sounds. I'm hoping you don't get sort of blasted with loud noise. Mariner, Howdy, good to see you. Yeah, we've got to use X-Plane 12. So, 1228. Are we listening? Are we transmitting? No, we are not doing... We're transmitting. We aren't receiving. There we go. Nice traffic, Manta 321, pushing back from stand 14 to face northeast. Goods, brakes released. I can see our colleague in the EasyJet over there, so that should work out nicely. And that's gone. Mighty Morph, thanks for the follow. Raphael, thanks for the subscription. And Cube as well. And Kaza, PL, thanks for the follow. Great to see you all join us. So, brakes released, clock's running, brakes released. And... chocks are gone.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Oh no, let's not do that. Oh no, hold on, it's better pushback, isn't it? Ooh, it's gonna be tight. Yeah, EasyJet's going forward. Excellent, thank you to the EasyJet. Kaza says, how do you use max auto brake on landing? I always press the max switch, but it never seems to turn on. I can only go max to medium auto brakes. Yeah, you don't use max on landing, only medium or low. Yeah. Dougal says, so many new follows. Great stuff. And welcome aboard. Yeah, welcome to everyone. Thank you all for joining us today. Hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy it a lot. Right, let's start up the engines then. So we're going to put that to arc, don't you, there. Starting engine number 2, because it is a short taxi-ish. Number 2. Start the clock. Pressure. N2. Using IE engine today, of course. And these just come to life. Indeed, this is the release version now, finally. Just love the rain. It's the best. It's the best effect I've seen of rain. Engines are very quiet, but this is a 321, and they would be. You sit in the 321, and you'll be surprised how you almost can't hear the engines. We are going to have the weather radar on my side today. We'll have terrain over there.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
Brakes are set to park. What a wintry evening we're having here. Starting engine number 1. PTU running. Number 1 starting. So a question there from Cook Scotland says, I watched a copy of videos recently. On the first you stayed on APU till engine start, and on the second you switch on straight away due to 20-degree weather. What minimum temperature do you decide to start the APU? It's a high temperature thing normally, but really it's down to the cabin temperature. If you're on a stand like that without a jet bridge attached, with a jet bridge attached, even in the winter you rarely need to start the APU early. You'll probably stay quite warm. There we go, off they go. Quite an aft CG. You can see we're sitting a little bit nose up for a 321. They're often forwards balanced, but this one's, we've got a lot of cargo in the back. That's quite interesting to see. Yeah. Yeah, and I could believe it. Yeah. Off they go. There's the pin and the wave. Great stuff. That engine has started. So yeah, so you just go down to the cabin temperature, but it's unlikely this time of year, if you're on a remote stand like that, you'd probably need to start it up before passengers board, or it could be very cold in the cabin. Also with COVID, we were doing it a lot more often. So back to norm. Weather off. Engine anti-ice is going to have to be on. Must switch off for the APU. Arm the ground spoilers. Recenter the rudder trim. Flaps to 2. Actually do that right this time, hopefully. We got a CG of... I'm going to show up there. 28.1 gives us a... Where's our gross weight CG? Why can't I find it? What am I doing wrong here? Can it be? Gross weight CG, 28. Oh, slightly different format. There we go. 28. So yeah, pretty balanced. For a 221, normally you have to put in some sort of up. It's normally a forward CG, so yeah. Good. Right, let's run the upside checklist. Anti-ice, we got engines, cab status is checked, pitch trim 28, rudder trim is at 0. That is the aftersight check is complete. Let's go. Mighty more thanks for the follow if I didn't say. This is the latest ToLiss version, I believe. Yes, I did update it earlier. In the release beta, you have ACARS and ATC via CPDLC. Yes, I have not been using the CPDLC, but it is possible now, which is great. Matthew says, radar usage with ground crew around, any SOP stuff in your career regarding when to turn on off? Thank you. So, great question. Not near the terminal, not with ground crew around the aircraft. So I'd wait till we're out here. Anyway, let's taxi out. But on the Airbus, it just turns on. On Boeing's, I believe, you have to actually, it just turns on when you get in the air. But often you want to see what's in the air before you go. So yeah, slightly different ways of handling it. That's horrible weather. If you sat in a 321 like this, you can guarantee you'd be sort of rocking around a little bit. Nice traffic, Mensa 321, taxiing via Sierra. Foxtrot uniform, Hotel 1 for 22 left. No, I mean, no one else is going to know. We're Sierra, Foxtrot uniform, Hotel 1. That's going to work.
We are taxiing on Tango and stand 65 Alpha.
There we go. So they're going Tango 65 Alpha. Great. So they're going to go over there. We'll let them park. Brakes released. Let's go. Goofy is in time for departure. Excellent. Thanks for joining us. Oh. oh, excuse me. Let's get the wiper going. Now this is something I'd like to see changed. There's a bit of a, if we move the camera out, you get the full brightness, but the windows do quite a severe tint. Well, maybe it's better inside. I don't know. To be decided. 321s don't use all the roll spoilers in the same way, so when you do the spoiler deflection, this one stays down. You wouldn't notice from the flight deck though, of course, because it just indicates that it's up. There's no scale on this. They're either up or not, deployed or not. Lightning, yes. Indeed, we have lightning today, so we will be dealing with that accordingly. Now I want to take... what did I say? Foxtrot. So we're taking Foxtrot up here, which is that black one. And there we go. Where's our EasyJet friend? We haven't taxied through them, have we? Look at that. Love the clouds. Love this sort of haze around it. And let's find Foxtrot. Yep, that's there. Foxtrot uniform. Love the jet blast. A little bug I've noticed is the wheels don't turn at the moment. They used to. I don't know what's happened, so I don't know if I'm the only one with that bug, but there we go. Then we'll get on this straight bit here and we'll do the flight controls. We must not miss our crossing points. It'll be very embarrassing. Which is going to be Hotel 1. So Hotel 1, yeah. So that'll be on our right. Yeah, some people don't like the puddles in the straight line. I can see that, but I imagine, yeah, it's a bit unrealistic. It's probably designed because concrete would be like that, but in terms of each, they've done it for each sort of grid piece. So at least they're not sitting on the lines, but I can see how that's perhaps a little bit too neat, isn't it? Right, flight control checks. Full up, full down. Well worth doing an X-plane in case I've left my Xbox controller plugged in. And I don't have the rudder disconnect assigned actually, so we won't do that. Other pilot would do theirs. Let's get that weather radar on. We're going to need it. System 1, please. Prediction wind shear to auto, multi-scan auto, GCS auto, and we'll put it to calibrated +4 for departure. TCAS to TARA. Maximum on the auto brakes. Go and get the ding-dong. And we'll run the takeoff config. Okay, sitting in a good place. Let's hope that wasn't hotel. That's golf. Hotel golf. So next one. Love it. Absolutely soaking out there. Turning the Airbus, especially 321, and a tail-loaded 321 like this on the ground would be an absolute nightmare. It would, I say nightmare, it'd be fine, but you have to be so careful. It's going to slide around because that yellow paint is like an ice rink. If you ever walk on it on a walk around, you just fall over. You can't walk on it. It's so slippery. I don't know what they use. It's just absolutely hopeless in the rain in terms of grip. It's not really what it's designed for. Look at the wind. I absolutely love that. That's just so spot on. And sometimes you'll see aircraft taxiing with one wiper on and one off because one windshield's getting soaked and the other's almost dry. It does happen. Right, Hotel 1. So we're going to stop there. I'll run the checklist and then we'll announce crossing. Thank you, CSD, for the follow. Slow it down. Slow it down. Collie behind us. Wings loaded with fuel. Not having to use any thrust because we've got the engine anti-ice on. I think the ToLiss now simulates that. Let's just see. So let's just stop here. Engine 1 is at 23.3%. I'm sure this was added. Maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking about the bleeds only. Engine anti-ice would actually increase the base N1 on the real aircraft. Maybe the bleeds. Yeah, the bleeds they do simulate. So the bleeds turned off will actually drop the N1s. Yeah, there you go. Put this back on before we mess around with the airplane too much. Mark, thanks so much for the £5 super chat. Mark says, thanks for all your streams, especially the Phoenix ones. Really helped me out. I enjoyed the one on failures the other day. Happy Christmas. Mark, really, really appreciate it. Thanks so much for your £5 donation. I'm glad you enjoyed the stream. Yes, we did a stream the other day in the Phoenix A320, and we just looked at loads of different failures. It was on Twitch. It was a bit of fun, and now the video is available on YouTube if you'd like to see that. So yeah, thank you, Mark. Really appreciate it. Thanks for the very kind donation. Thank you for supporting the channel, and thanks for joining us. Merry Christmas to you too. Nice traffic, Manta 321, crossing runway 22 right, lining up runway 22 left. Right, let's go. Clear on the left, clear on the right. Let's get the lights on. I'm just going to put them all on as that's what we're about to do. Might as well. And let's go. Don't want to hang around too long on the runway. Bit of a spool up. 4 takeoff checks. Flight controls are checked. Flight instruments are checked. Briefing confirmed. Flaps, we've got config 2 green, 2 blue. So that's all correct. FMA, we've got 142, 146 climb nav, 152, 14,000. So that is all correct. And takeoff data, we've got transponder on TARA. We've got eco memo, takeoff no blue. Below line, cabin is secured. Engine mode selector can stay in norm. You could put it to ignition for the flooded runway. It's in ignition anyway because the flaps are out. We almost never do that, frankly. On the Neos, you do need to because they don't automatically do ignition with the flaps. But there we go. TCAS and TRA packs are on. That's the before takeoff checklist complete. We are going to line up. We've told everyone we will. There's the wind. So yeah, pretty breezy from the sort of a headwind. Probably got slightly better performance than we thought there. And the airplane's starting to weathercock already. Yeah, you can feel it there. And I had something else I wanted to do. Don't remember what it was now. That's why you have 2 pilots. Still clear. We've got the departure. Going toga thrust. Beautiful. Yeah, love that sort of haze. It was something stream related. You'd think it's easier to use 2-2 right, but they will use 2-2. I believe they use 2-2 left. They typically use 0-4 right for takeoff, even though it would be easier. It's quite common to land on the closest runway and depart on the furthest runway. That is a thing. I wouldn't say it's common, but there we go. Ah, weather radar. Right, yes, of course. So, weather radar is on. Why can't I see anything? I used it recently, and it did work. Was that in the ToLiss? Or was that in the default 330? And that's turned up. So what we would do now is you would just check there's no weather here. What we'd have also done during the taxi out pointing that way is scan the weather radar over this area. But that doesn't really matter so much because, of course, we've got the time here to change our course once we've turned around the corner. So I just need to know this initial bit. Do I need to tell air traffic? I can't do it. So you might say, after, let's say there's a thunderstorm here, it would say we need to carry on straight ahead. Something like that. Anyway, it all looks good for now. I don't know why. Weather and turbulence, if that works. We did actually, we've had this before. There was a reason for this. But I don't want to delay the stream too much. Right, let's go. Needs traffic, Manta 321, taking off 22 left. Left turn out on a Badox departure. Right, let's go. So, hold on to your hats. Half side stick, 50% M1. It is a headwind, so headwind takeoff. Brakes released. Toga. Man Toga SRS, auto thrust, blue and armed. I would use the wipers in this case. Look at that, quite strong turbulence. Needing a bit of left rudder there to hold it straight. Ooh, that's quite severe. 100 knots. A little bit overdone, this convective weather. Rotates. Look at that. Positive climb, gear up. Nav, yeah. It's obviously moved right overhead. Let's get that wiper off. Don't need to work too hard on the side stick. Look at that, you don't have to do anything. The Airbus is a relatively stable airplane. It will work on it itself. We're in nav mode. That's fine. Wow. That would be severe. You really wouldn't want to take off into that. If you knew this was coming, you would have definitely delayed. Right. 2 clicks back. It's in climb mode. I'm going to do that very slowly. I want the nose, I want to accelerate really before I bring the thrust back. Just look at what it's doing to us. There we go. Right. I'm not going to bring the thrust back now from MCT until I get that to accelerate away. Nah, that was bad. That was a bad bit of turbulence. Right, there we go. Thrust, climb, climb, auto thrust. Let's get the autopilot in. Lots to think about here. Autopilot 1. We're accelerating. I think that's fine. The flaps aren't doing much for us anyway, so we'll go to 1, and we'll go 1 plus F. Next stop is at 10,000, which will become a flight level. So let's set standard. Out magenta at 100. Round the turn we go. Oof, yeah. That would put off some passengers. Wouldn't be surprised if you were trying to take off in that, you'd probably get a predicted wind shear before you got anywhere, and you'd reject the takeoff. Wouldn't surprise me. Lauren V, good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Right, flaps to 0. Disarm the ground spoilers. Lights off. Get some energy into this airplane. Oh, you don't want to be decelerating in this case. Uncomfortable. So why is my radar not working at all? MacBack says, do you ever get wheel spin when applying takeoff power on wet runways? Well, we only go to 50% when we're setting takeoff power initially. So 50%, then you release the brakes and set takeoff thrust. We don't hold the aircraft on the brakes at takeoff thrust. So, no. At 50%, I've not had it. Maybe on an icy taxiway, if you're trying to do an engine run-up to free the engines of ice or to keep them clear of ice, then yes, you can get, the airplane will slide forward at 50%. Yeah, 50% is a lot of thrust. Right, let's see. Departing shot. There she is. This is a strange effect that seems to be introduced, this sort of hazing around the clouds. I don't know why. There it is. Don't know if you can see that. It might not show up on the stream. Look at the turbulence. We're doing alright. We're still in the clear. I'm going to turn in the clear, but I wouldn't want to go into some of this unless I really had to. Yeah, the sudden jumps of airspeed are realistic. Yeah, I'd say they are. We're experiencing... This is really bad turbulence, so but you can see them when you're in that turbulence. If you're flying through convective weather like this. And sometimes, you know, when you're flying arrivals and so on, you'll be this close, but you don't want to go into them, and you'll be... Yeah, you can see out the window the clouds, but we'll go in and out of these sorts of clouds. It would just be what the weather radar's painting as to whether we go in and out of those. So some of these can be really bumpy, even if they aren't actually painting very red, as it were. After takeoff, checklist landing gear is up. Flaps are retracted, packs are on, Barrett is on standard. After takeoff, checklist complete. The rain is not... oh, it is stuttering now, yeah. Now we've accelerated. Good spot. Very good spot. Yeah. Shadows are smooth now, though. After years of X-Plane 11s. Jaggedy shadows. Right, leveling up at 100. I want to get rid of those landing lights. They're not doing anything in these clouds. They'll just get battered. Constraint star. The weather is picky. Keep toggling it. Eventually it turns on to WV. Okay. Yeah, I was sort of hoping it would work. WX all. Now all is it was not. That's not the right message for this radar. That's a NEO radar thing. Let's put it back to calibrated. Whoa! But the engines did idle. Yeah. Yeah. You can lose that much speed from planned speed. Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me. Let's fiddle with everything. I suppose it is a multi-scan. It is a multi-scan. So let's put it to manual. Put the tilt at sort of 4 degrees. There we go. Yikes. Well, that's not good at all. I might dim that down. We call that. That's called the pizza. It's usually more red and yellow than that. So it looks like a big greasy pizza. Right, let's try auto now. See if that helps. I don't think the tilt is doing a whole lot. Frankly, it doesn't seem to make much difference. Tilt it up into the sky. Try turning down the cane. No, it's just a display. Fair enough. Oh. Right, autopilot off. Oh, that's interesting. I must have the wrong button assigned, but there we go. Yeah, see, so you'd expect that to have shown something on the radar, although clear air turbulence is a thing. It is a thing. Definitely leaving the passengers and everyone strapped in for this. Till we can get out of it. Tilt is an option, Don. Thank you very much. Is the cockpit this dark in real life? No, no. Still struggling with these dark cockpits. Yeah, it's way too dark. I was really hoping this would get resolved, but alas. Still a thing. Weather radar is kinetic. You can't use it to probe. Yeah, there we go. Thanks, A. Right, let's pretend air traffic control lets us go. Don't want to stay here all day getting bounced around. Cruising at 340. Recommended max this way 356. So yeah, 340 is good for us. Oh, look at that, it's a new little icon. That's cool. Thrust climb, open climb, at blue 340. Now it's going to accelerate. And we'll get to our sort of en route speed, which will be closer to a turbulence climb speed, or turbulence penetration speed. Actually, no, not this low. Maybe higher up it will. We're going to be a bit fast now. Let's hope there's not too much rough stuff ahead of us. Oh, you'd be bored of this if you're a passenger. Oggy says, what do you think of the A310 in Microsoft Flight Simulator? Needs work or works fine? I'd say it works fine. I really like it. I'll stream with it again soon, I'm sure. I really like it. Look at that wing bouncing around, yeah. That's better. Yeah, you don't see... Airbus wings do bounce. You can especially see the bouncing when you have a sharklet. Makes it really obvious, flexing up and down. When without the sharklet, it's not quite as clear. Ooh, this is rough. This is rough. I mean, it's a bit frustrating. So what they've done here is they've done a great job. This is probably the turbulence you'd experience in the middle of a thunderstorm, but we don't have the tools to see where the thunderstorms are because we don't have the. It's not having it. Severe ice. We're going to ice on. Yeah, because we don't have the weather radar that works for us. There we go. We're through that one. No, Johnny, sadly this isn't live weather. I can't get live weather to work. There seems to be a few problems with X-Plane today. First time I've had that since getting X-Plane 12, but yeah, it doesn't seem to want to run the live weather right now. So I thought we'd go with convective, try it out, talk about some different things, see the great graphics, especially the wet runways. Those hills are closer beneath us than you might think. Love this livery. Mark says, I went on a week's gliding holiday in the 90s. It was a bit early in the year and the weather wasn't great. I caught the only thermal of the week. We went from 1,000 all the way up to 6,000. Wow. Amazing. Just from the thermal, yeah. Thermals, for those of you who don't know, it's a rising column of air. So the ground heats up and then areas of the air will start to rise, and so if you get caught in one of those in a glider, you can actually use it to climb and climb and climb without any additional energy or without an engine. So very good. Max says, so what would you be thinking now if this was real world? There doesn't seem to be any avoidance options here. Is it just to climb as high as possible now? Yeah, I suppose, let's imagine your weather radar broke at this point, which it effectively has. It's not telling us anything we need to know. What would you do? Well, if you can see, great. You'd certainly be avoiding anything flashing, because that's a good sign. The irony of thunderstorms is the roughest weather is often in them. If they have high bases, let's say the thunderstorms sort of have a 6,000 foot base, then if you're on approach, you just want to get below it. If you can get below that base, then you can work out what's going on. Now, you've got to be very careful there, because of course you could get microbursts, which are absolutely a major problem for aircraft. So you do have to be careful of that. In Europe, microbursts are totally possible, but especially in North Europe, the way the thunderstorms are just a little bit smaller, I suppose, but you still get some monsters. Anyway, climbing's a great idea as well, but the top of these thunderstorms could be the most severe weather, and the taller they are, the worse they are. So if you end up climbing inside one, you could have a real problem. Honestly, if you're trying to do a flight with convective weather the whole way like this, and you've taken off and your weather radar hasn't come on, I mean, if your weather radar didn't come on the ground, which is when you would have known, I suppose, then I would really consider not going. In fact, I would not go until I had a weather radar that I could use, because it's so distracting not having one. If this was the case, you would be asking other aircraft. That's ultimately what you do. So let's say it broke once we're in the air. Yeah, if it breaks when you're in the air, ask another aircraft, or getting air traffic control to ask aircraft. Some air traffic control units will have a radar, but they don't typically, not in Europe anyway, they won't avoid you around weather. They'll expect you to tell them if you want to avoid. They may have an idea, they may not. So that would be your two best tricks. If you're near the airport, you might consider going straight back in again if the weather was okay when you took off, which it should have been, or you wouldn't have taken off. But yeah, who knows? These things are very dynamic. Thunderstorms can move through in 20 minutes, QP asks, can you explain when you do a PAX on departure and when it packs off? Yeah, it's just for efficiency. So most airlines will do PAX off all the time, and then you just do PAX on if there's a specific reason for it. If you want to do PAX on, you may be limited by performance. So if the aircraft doesn't have enough power to take off because of short runway or tailwind, then maybe you have to do PAX off to give it that extra bit of power. But like I say, most airlines will just do PAX off anyway. Just saves a bit of fuel, bit of engine wear, so it all adds up. Good stuff. Right, 21,000 feet, starting to clear the top of this weather. So 20,000 foot cells, certainly enough of a problem. We often called cells, but it's winter time, so yeah, 20,000 feet is they're not the worst thing out there. So you probably wouldn't get quite as dramatic weather as we saw there. Thunderstorms that go above 20 are getting really serious, yeah. Jency says, I came here. How are you liking X-Plane 12 so far? Anything different from Microsoft Flight Simulator? Loads different from Microsoft Flight Simulator, but I'm enjoying it a lot, yeah. We're out of the weather. Wing anti-ice off. And anti-ice off for now. See if we need it later. Yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot. A bit annoying about the live weather. I would have really liked that to work. I wonder if that's why this radar is a bit confused. So the setting, if you're wondering, the setting that you wanted in is... there we go. You wanted in WX and T, weather and turbulence. Otherwise you've got weather on its own, turbulence on its own, and mapping. So weather and turbulence, prediction wind shear to auto, system 1. Now we're about 20,000 feet, I'll put it to calibrated, and I'll put the tilt to +4. Ground cutter on, let's see if any of that helps us get a picture we can actually use. No. What it's doing is this is just all these little bits out there. Oh well. Macbook says you see them a lot in Florida, massively high ceilings. Yeah, so in as you go, so thunderstorms in winter they'll be lower normally. There can be occasions, but they're limited by the tropopause, and I say limited in the loosest sense of the term. What's going on with our fly live? Why won't it connect? Huh. Strange, that overlay is not working. Very unusual. Okay. I've definitely got XP UFC. Oh well. Like, thanks for the follow, and Colin, thanks for the subscription if I didn't say. Right, so yeah, so limited by the tropopause. What's the tropopause? As you climb, temperature drops. Ambient temperature, static air temperature in this case, it's called. Minus 36 outside, and as we climb, it's dropping and dropping all the time. As we get high enough, that will stop dropping. So it's called the tropopause, and then it will stay the same. Thunderstorms are generated by a difference in... It's more than I'm aware of. You got adiabatic lapse rates and so on. So anyway, these differences are what it relies on. It's how it generates itself, right? It's hotter and more convective than the air around it, so it rises, and as it does, it cools, and then it condenses, and you get the clouds. Anyway, as it reaches the tropopause, the temperature it keeps rising as the temperature around it drops at a different rate to the temperature inside it. But then the temperature outside it stops dropping when it reaches the tropopause. So it reaches that, and then it can't really go any higher. Now they do, they punch through because they have momentum and all sorts in them, and they can affect it around where they are. And again, meteorologists will know what they're talking about here. I don't know what I'm talking about. But generally that's about where they sit. So if you see the tropopause is 30,000 feet and you're planning on cruising at 38,000 feet, it's unlikely any CBs will go much above it. And yeah, so you might be... You still wouldn't want to fly right over them, but you could have a few more options perhaps. Oh yeah, we don't need speed ignition anymore. There we go. So yeah, in winter the tropopause tends to be lower, so they don't tend to grow so big. You can also see a lot of our weather charts. It might actually be in this briefing pack. It's very common for airline weather briefing packs to include physical charts. Sorry, picture charts that would explain where the tropopause is for your flight. I don't know if SimBrief includes that. No, looks unlikely. Oh, maybe. So here's the SIG weather. Should have been absolutely fine, just some light icing. Winds. Yeah, upper winds. There you go. That blue line is not listed. I'm guessing that blue line is the tropopause. Up to 400. So you see how it wobbles around. Now how they predict where it is and what it's going to be, I don't know. I'm not 100% sure that's what that's telling us, but that's normally what you see on this sort of chart. That would be the tropopause. So that tells us we should be above it, and then we're actually go below it. So weather build-ups here could well rise above our cruising level. Anyway. Let's get up to our cruising level. Now we've got way more headwind than I wanted. That's a bit annoying, so I'm going to increase the cost of X. Yeah, clouds are noticeably layered. I mean, layered clouds, this is not an impossible picture. I would expect, the only thing I would say about this sort of picture is you've got your cumulusy stuff here, fine, in a layer, fine, and then I expect this to be more stratusy, typically. It doesn't tend to be quite so fluffy at 28,000 feet. This would be bad news, very turbulent, I would imagine. JR Aviator, thanks for the follow. Yeah, so that's all I would say about that. I don't mind the layers, but this stuff should be stratusy. I'd really like to have live weather. Piano Learner, good to see you. Piano Learner says, "Hi Captain, have you ever had to fly on Christmas Day or New Year's Day? If so, any difference that can cause?" No. People will say Happy New Year or Merry Christmas, but that's about it. Just normal. Everyone's at work. Your colleagues and passengers often in a good mood, at least. That's quite nice. Something to say though is you get as you get towards these holidays, you'll start hearing people say it really early. So you'll hear pilots say to the controller as they're sort of signing off and going to the next frequency, and they'll say, "Oh, Merry Christmas," and they'll start doing that. Because if that pilot's like a long-haul pilot or something, that might be their last flight, and then they're not flying over Christmas. They got 4 days until then or whatever, so they start doing it really early because it's their last flight before Christmas. But that controller probably hand off hundreds of airplanes that shift alone, and have to say it over and over again. Same with New Year. That people start saying Happy New Year like a week before it. Happens every year, just because it's their last flight. So yeah, you often hear that. I would personally save it for the actual day or the day before, maybe. Aviator, if you're looking to get into flight simulators and VATSIM, what would you recommend? Either. It really is either. Microsoft Flight Simulator is now the more stable product in many ways, but the airports aren't quite as good, so it really depends what you're going to do on VATSIM. If you're just going to do airliner flying, you could choose either, but you'd probably need to buy yourself, or you can get the fly-by-wire in Microsoft Flight Simulator. And same with X-Plane really, you'd get the Zevo mod, or you'd buy an add-on aircraft if you're trying to do serious airliner stuff. But yeah, it's tricky. Microsoft Flight Simulator though does offer a lot for the money. You get beautiful visuals, an amazing weather engine, absolutely stunning. You get a lot of airplanes now, a lot of content. You get the Maverick missions and all sorts. I mean, it's remarkable. And then the scenery is just breathtaking. My little thanks for the follow, Digi, and Haycon, and Haycan. Appreciate it. Apologies about that. Yeah, there we go. So, Norman says, I know for certain I won't hear the end of ground and approach prompt happy birthday over next week. There you go. So it's your birthday next week? Happy birthday to you, Lauren, if it is. Maxim says, the default airports in X-Plane 12 are better because they're directly community contributed for free. Shame this kind of thing isn't possible with Microsoft. No, I hear that someone's told me, or in a stream someone suggested it might be on the way, but yes, that's absolutely what we need. It makes such a difference. 26th for Lauren B's birthday. What a day to have it. Day after Christmas. Excellent. Well, happy birthday for then. So yeah, Haycon asks, is X-Plane 12 worth it for now? That is the question. I'm showing you. You can make that decision. See what you think. I bought this, with my own money, and with channel money, and I don't feel shortchanged. But I did know exactly what I was getting. If you're expecting, because it's newer than Microsoft Flight Simulator, for it to offer an enhanced version of that, no, that's not what it's about. but if you know what you're getting, I actually think they've done a relatively good job. Very good job, really. I didn't think it would be quite as good as it is, but doesn't mean it's going to be for everyone. Dreaming rain. That gap on the weather radar, I suspect, is just the it's the end of the Sim's loading range. So you used to do it with terrain, and then it loads in the sort of tile. Thanks for the follow, Lady Sweets. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, so I've also noticed I had great frame rates when I first got X-Plane 12, and now I'm finding it struggle. But I suppose it's probably loading in stuff at that point. Or my SSDs are just too full now. Is that juggly shadow back? That's annoying. These ones are all nice and crisp though. Looking good. Finally, we made it. 34,000 feet, 64 knot headwind. That's not ideal. Mac out star. Let's get that TCAS to below. Doesn't really matter. And scroll through here. Oh, we might be overtaking the easy. Now this page doesn't look right to me. I feel like it should be more evenly spread. There's too many up at the front. There we go. Good stuff. Lessons are released. 60 knot headwinds. Oh, that's annoying. So it's going to mess up our fuel. So the planned 4.5 arrival, but if I put in does this load this from the sim or the real world? No, 25015, so we should have a bit of a tailwind. This could mean that we don't have enough fuel. So I might just fit it with the wind. It's always risky doing that though. Let's bet in the current way. 343 at 60. See if that's changing it. No, 4.9 arrival. Interesting. We are making good progress. Might not overthink it. 7.4. Yeah, this number's going to keep dropping. That's a significant difference. I think what we're going to have to do, I'm going to have to change it. Let's... a ton though. I feel like a ton should cover that wind, which is exactly why I took it. We shall see. We shall see. Keep an eye on it. 7.4 right now. Want to arrive with 1.2 and yeah, 2 tons extra right now. I think we'll be alright. I think we'll be alright. We will be alright. We'll make sure it works. Maxim says green system should be about halfway full at this point because of the gear. Surprised it's not implemented. Yeah, indeed. The Phoenix does have that. ToLiss does not. That should be down there. Yellow would be up there, but that'd be low. Yeah. Can you restow the rat if it's deployed? I'm not having fun though. James, no, you can't. I'm afraid. What's happened? Had a major failure down there, have we? Yeah, the rat deploying is bad. A lot of drag, a lot of noise. You're not going to get back in. George says, regarding FMA changes, what is called out? Everything? And what colours are announced? Only magenta? Great question, George. That would depend entirely on the airline. Entirely on the airline. So some airlines called out every FMA. Some, when Airbus first came out, some airlines didn't call out any of them. But nowadays, it's quite common to call out the FMAs. Yeah, but some airlines will say green and blue. Some will just say blue. Yeah. That's a strange noise. What's happened there? No, we're okay. We're okay. Yes, as Tom says to Lauren, enjoy your combination Xmas birthday gifts. Yes, quite. That's definitely what's going to happen every year, I'm sure. What's your opinions about graphics engine for V12? I think it looks nice. They fixed my big problem with X-Plane 11, which was that sort of grey, yellowy sort of tint it had. That it was just like it was filtered badly. They've also sorted out some lighting issues, so we get much nicer lighting. Not perfect, not as good as Microsoft, but it's definitely a step up. It's definitely improved, and it's not a subtle improvement. It looks a lot better than 11 did. Some quirks that need fixing, as we've seen in previous streams, but still, there you go, behind the cloud and out. Yeah, nice. And we all know, as I've already discussed at length, how much I like the rain. Vigorous Gibberish says, just curious, is there a way to purposely put the controls into alternate law, or is that reserved only for a failure? If there's something not too important, you can turn off to switch the law. Yeah, you can. It was actually required for a while. I don't know if many of you remember. There was an incident with an A321 that got into alpha protection. So the aircraft had an issue with its angle of attack indicators, and it decided that the aircraft was pitching up too much. The angle of attack was getting too high, so it forced the nose down. It did this as a function of normal law, which is fine, but obviously the pilots didn't want that. So the way they got out of it was to do this. Turn off the ADRs. Yes, 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 yes. Well, I think it's overspeeding because of the maximum. Anyway, then I can put the ADR 3 over here. Not sure why it thinks we're overspeeding. There we go. Interesting one. Let's put that all back. Anyway, as you can see, that has put it into alternate law. And now I've got it stuck in alternate law by the looks of it. Oh dear. That should... I don't know what it's doing. That should have been fine. There's no reason why the speed should now be limited to 260. Max is 320. Anyway, auto thrust off. Let's fly the airplane. Climbed up to 35,000 feet. So let's get back to 34. Open descent. Auto thrust. Thrust idle. Auto thrust. So everything's working, you see. But it is in alternate law still. Which it shouldn't be. Let's not do open descent. Let's do it in VS. Let's be a bit neater. So we'll do minus 1,000. Thanks, doors. And Rahanan for the subscription and follow. Right, Mac value speed 1,000. We obviously can't target that speed anymore, so let's just do 7.5. Let's get back down to 34. That is probably a function of having climbed, actually. But why it's not gone back? So what they did was they turned off 2 ADRs and leave 1 running, and then you're in alternate law. And that's what I did on my stream, my emergency stream, which is on YouTube right now if you want to see that. Let's get back into nav as well. Nav. So flight control alternate law protections lost, max speed 320, fine. Auto flight, auto thrust off, fine. So let's clear those out. Max speed 320, flat 3 for landing because it's an alternate law landing. GPWS landing flat 3 on, approach speed VF plus 15, and landing distance procedure apply. When landing again, autopilot off, direct law, alternate law protections lost. Flight control protections are inoperative. Now, again, I think they should be working still. I don't see why there's a problem. No. Mac, VS, heading, AP1, nav. Strange. We might end up flying around in alternate law. So you could ask yourself a question now. Do you think we should continue or should we descend, divert? What do you think? What do people think? Auto flight, auto thrust off, we know, clearing that. And status is unchanged. Now, I'm not following the full emergency diagnosis process there. I've done a whole video, 2 hours of emergencies, and I have videos on it if you'd like to see it. I'm sort of free thinking here, looking at the airplane and discussing with you guys as opposed to sitting here running through all of that. Yeah, interesting. I think this should be back in normal law, unless I've missed something. Maxim says, have you ever used the DFDR event button to record something going suspect on the airplane? No. Engineers can see. They'll get a flag anyway. Automatically, it all downloads and sends off to them. Often, they'll see it live often, so they can see it while you're in flight. So you doing that isn't really going to do much. Back in the days when it wasn't transmitted live, and it was the airplane would land, and then the data would be collected, in those cases, then it could be useful for them. But these days, no. Isn't that an irreversible action? The ADRs? No, the ADRs are reversible. Oh, stop doing that. Right, Mac, outcruise, nav, AP1, 152, auto thrust, good stuff. Yeah, ADRs should be reversible. The IRs, if you turn those off, you've got real problems. This is air data we're looking at. Lauren Reese, should have saved the scenario prior to faffing. Yes, should have done. Too late now. Tom's Travels tries resetting FAC 1. Now, this is not what you do in the real aircraft. You've got to be very careful fiddling around. Look at that. Excellent. Well done, Tom. Tom is an absolute whiz with the Airbus. And there you go. We are now in normal law. Brilliant. Brilliant. So resetting the FAC is something you'd have to do with certain electrical failures. It would be listed by the ECAM, and it would bring back your speeds. I don't believe you should have had to do it in that case, but there we go, it worked. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you, Tom. Cyprian says divert. So the question is, why couldn't we carry on? So we've got options, haven't we? When you have a failure like that, you do your flying of the airplane, you're navigating, you're communicating, and then you're going to deal with the actual ECAM and so on properly. And then once you've done all that and you've secured the airplane and you're flying along like this, and then you're going to start thinking about what you're going to do. So you've got to figure out exactly what your problem you've got is. How much time have you got to decide? As it stands, we're over France with a lot of airports around us, so we've got lots of places to divert to. And then we've got option to continue, and we could return as well. So those are your three choices, aren't they? Continue, return when you started, or divert en route. So you can start sort of narrowing it down. So the question is, why wouldn't we continue? What's happened? Well, we're in a degraded airplane that could get worse potentially if we don't know what's happened to it. But what's actually degraded? Well, although we were in alternate law, we had the autopilot, we had the auto thrust, so we can stay in RVSM airspace like that. RVSM is reduced vertical separation minimum. So if we are flying along at these high levels, we have to have quite a good bit of equipment. For example, we have to have an autopilot. So if we lost our autopilot, we would have to descend out of this airspace, and then we're not going to have the fuel to get where we're going, most likely. You could do, you could work it out, but you might not. So that would potentially lead to diversion. You might find as well, busy airspace, like we're going to go through London here. London might say, no, you're not coming into our airspace without an autopilot because you'd just be such a nuisance. It'd be too busy for you. Now, if you're in an emergency, they'd have to deal with it. But if they have the option, they might say, no, you go and land somewhere else, quieter. So yeah, there we go. Mark had to leave to eat. What happened? We had a bit of a failure of the... I turned off some systems and that led to that. Paul Smith, sadly, no face reveal. Different says, okay, Captain, carry on. So yeah, so I would instinctively, but you have a discussion, but I would have carried on like that in alternate law, because with the automatics, only we know we're in alternate law. Now, the big question as well is landing. So would we fit into Luton in a maximum weight 321 landing flap 3? That's the question. And there was a landing distance procedure to apply. So with that procedure, it said landing distance procedure. So we'd have to do that and work out whether we can fit into Luton. So that might change our plan. That might change our plan. If we can't fit, we'd have to go somewhere else. But we might have the option to go somewhere else in London, which would probably be better than going somewhere in France if our passengers wanted to be in the UK. We fixed alternate law. Picked up Tom's suggestion of the FAC reset. We did the FAC reset. You wouldn't just do a reset on that on your own. You'd do it as part of the procedure only. But in this sim, it seemed to work. Kat says, I've been practicing my landings, following your tutorials. Thank you for the amazing work that you do. That's really kind. Thanks so much, Kat. I'm really glad they've helped you. Thanks to That's Man for the follow. Josh wants us to land at East Midlands, EGNX. James says, I've had to quit. Rat deployed with generator failures and nowhere near enough skill to deal with that. That's him. Ah, well. You can join us here, James, but thank you for flying along anyway. That is a bad flight. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. So, EGGW. 360 miles. Haven't put an arrival in. Let's do that. So the question is, what's the weather there? I'm going to assume it's southwesterly like it was where we've been. What's the arrival? Banver direct to Luton. 25. Banver 1 Lima. Go to plan. Zoom in. Zoom in. Straight. There it is. And we'll cut that short. I don't know why it's so strange. Doesn't exist anymore. What's going on here? Nope. That's unusual. Our chart planned it. Oh no, it didn't. Direct from Banver. So they've obviously ditched the Banver arrival. Oh well. Forget that then. What are we going to fly? Let's just see what we've got. Let's bring up an ILS chart and then we can work it out. So ILS for 25. Yeah, something like that, but that's not it. Thanks Elmore for the follow. Luton in this case, Pax might be happy with anywhere else, this John. Paul says, a question, why do pilots always overly optimistic on landing time? Are we? We try our best. Maybe it's wishful thinking. No, we can't find much here. Can't see much here. Is Laurel any good? Should make this up at this point. We're not going to do all that. We're going to go Brooks Park and then join the ILS. So it actually doesn't matter. Let's just insert that. Brentman's Park. Don't want to go to Parkway. Don't want to go to Buster. What I want to do is Brentman's Park and then CF25. No, it should have found it because it's on the arrival. Oh, there's all different runways. We won't do that. Insert that for now. Get out Laurel. Thank you, Steph, for the $5 tip. Really appreciate it. Steph says, keep up the great work. Thanks so much, Steph. Really, really very kind. I hope you're doing well. And thanks for joining us on the stream today. And thanks for your very kind tip. Really appreciate it. No, don't do that. Once undo. Oh, I haven't seen that before. Yes, you can undo just one thing. Wow, that's a good feature. Very nice. There we go. That's what we're going to apply. We'll just carve through London like that and hope they vector us if they want us to do anything different. The jagged edges, I don't know actually. I haven't fiddled with my settings too much. Just running at native resolution. They do seem better. Lauren Reese says, that's always been in the ToLiss. Very good. I didn't realise. Yeah. They've got quite a nice spec of MCDU software. That's very good indeed. So the descent's about 240 miles. That's not too long. Not too bad. 6.5 tons of fuel. Let's just make sure we know what we want to have when we get there. We want Manchester at 1.7. Well, that's more than enough. That's loads. And yeah, 1.7. Final reserve 1.3. So that adds up to 3 tons. That's a heavy landing fuel. I mean, we don't need Manchester fuel. I can lower the alternate down to 1 ton if we want, which would be. So we need to land with 2.3. 4.6 right now. 6.4. Yeah. No, I'm no longer concerned. Right, with a medium auto brake, flat full landing. It's going to be quite a short runway to be landing on, so we will do that. Max reverse. We would, of course, calculate it, but there isn't a landing perf. Oh, there is. Oh, what am I talking about? Right. Yeah, well, none of that's true. Should be about 6, 1, 7. Wet. Engine. Currently 78.6. We're going to burn 6.4. 2 more tons. So 76.6. Landing coming full, air conditioning on, no extra VAP, brake medium, reverse on, wind, let's just put calm. No, that's not good. I can't change that wind. That's really going to mess up my calculations. Because, of course, yeah, we're going to need no runway, 800 metres. It's a short runway, Luton, 2,000 metres. Why can't I change this? What am I doing wrong here? This is new, though. I didn't see this before. I'm pressing enter. It just changes back. Oh, well. PCDR, hello to you. Thanks for joining us. Real weather is down right now. Did you set custom weather? Ah, there we go. Yeah, it is indeed down for us as well. I'm just using convective weather. Yeah, custom sort of preset. VMCGHD says, are you looking forward to the border force strikes? I'm predicting it to be carnage in the next couple of days. I can't even imagine. Yeah. Yeah, this is new. I haven't seen this before. I'd like to load in that, for example, but I just can't get this number to change. Maybe errors out. Okay, good point. Aha! Well done. It doesn't want zeros. God, this is why I do the streams. I wouldn't be able to do any of this without it. Let's put in 2 knots. There we go. So landing distance, I reckon 1,200 meters. That's very good. 76 tons, flat full. I might put a VAP on of 5 just for the auto thrust to see if that. Yeah, there we go. I would have expected it to be about 1,800. So there it is, 1,800 with a factor. So landing distance 16, we require 1,766. There we go. So it's tight. But touchdown zone, that's what we need to do, and then we can do that. Yeah, it's a good calculator. I like it. They've done a good job here. What's that dot for? What does that mean? Don't know. Ah, and they got the checklist in here now. Ah, wow. Excellent. Now these are not the checklist. This is not a checklist an airline would use. This is a full sort of procedural checklist, as it were. This is the procedures. But this is great. You could use this very well. Let's just try it out. Done the cruise. Yes, yes, yes. It's going great. Thank you. Fuel. Yeah, let's check that. So 3.6 tons, 6. So that's 6 plus 3 is 9 plus 9, 9.9. The dot was a wind component. Ah, thanks BMCG. Yeah, it's because there's such light wind. No accuracy monitor, step flight we're not doing. Weather radar doesn't work. Cabin temperature monitor. You can be sure you'll hear about the cabin temperature if that changes too much. It doesn't tend to change during the flight. You'll get cooler if they want it different. Sometimes you'll see a temperature on here and you think, oh, that's a bit cold or hot, but you might not change it because you if they're happy in the back, then they're happy. So weather and landing info obtained. Yeah, we're going with convective weather. It could be a bit of a nuisance, really. It was pretty severe there. We'll see how it goes. What I'll do is I'll save the config on final, and then we'll, if it just goes ridiculous because there's a cell in the wrong place, then we will reload in and then change the weather. That's what we'll do. Okay, so yeah, turbulent, headwind, max auto brake, wet runway. Navigations we've done, FMS we've mostly done. So let's do the full FMS. So we've done the flight plan page, we've checked through it. We've done the RadNav. It's going to tune that a bit later. Progress page, EGGW25. Performance, we have not done this. So I'm totally guessing, because it's just what I set up earlier. I'm assuming it will be roughly the same. Oh, we're going to need to know the QNH. Oh, this is frustrating now. It's 1012. That's at LFGP. I might change this. Let's just change this. Can we download yet? No. What should we do? IFR non-precision, convective, VFR scattered. Uh, 1782. So that's, yeah, 1213. 14. Well, that's not good. It's not 14. Let's put it down. 5 degrees. 1213. Wind is 1782. Prepare for the airplane to, yeah, gain a tailwind. Or lose its headwind, as it were. Ipo says, hi all, how are you doing? Do I need to buy pedals to fly Microsoft Flight Simulator I found the bargain today on Logitech SayTech yoke. I use the Logitech SayTech pedals. I really like them. You don't need them though, but they are nice to have. If you can get a joystick with a twisty grip, then that's fine. Works, yeah. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Great to see you here. Shoo, hello to you. So 1013. Temperature we said was 6. Wind 177 at, what was it, like 3. Position level 50, fine, and MDA. So we get straight back to Abbey tab. This is nice. I like the system with these tabs at the top. We're going with a minimum of Cat 1 ILS 708. It's up on a hill, Luton. Can't be full landing for sure. If we go around, climb to 3,000, straight ahead to 1.5, outbound on 1,500, whichever is later, then a left turn onto 088. So 3,000 feet. There we go. Fuel, well, we're going to do absolutely fine for fuel now. Secondary copy. So the FMS is now set up. You got to checklist. Does it save? It does, yeah. GWS flap 3, no. Landing rate check. Well, it's in auto, 520 feet. That's good. Auto brake, medium. Approach briefing for terrain, not required. Weather radar, yes. Engine charge, no. Wing charge, no. Descent. FCU set split out. See, so it's a full on like list of what you need to do. Notice how long now engines are at their maximum thrust and it's just struggling to creep up to 272. Really struggling. Really struggling. Ah, this is nice. Get past the convective weather. Bit stable over here. The answer is, well, airline pilots spend a lot of time memorizing all the items and the checklists used there are things that must not be forgotten. It's different for desktop pilots. Exactly. Exactly. No, that's it. I'm not complaining about this. I think this is a great system. I'm a huge fan of the one in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I always appreciate when someone includes a checklist that tells you what to do. It's just, yeah. It's just a good idea. Especially when you fly lots of different airplanes as well. So this is not so great, is it? I'm not... There's too many... This doesn't look natural. I don't know why. I can't really specify. But to me, personally, I don't think this looks particularly natural. That's nice. Like the sort of the smoother area there, leading into some fluffy bits. But this bit here is, I don't know, a little bit too... You don't get these little bits because clouds are formed by... Well, I mean, you could do, I suppose. But I don't know. It just doesn't look quite as I'd expect. The MCG says, interesting, you always put go around altitude in the go around perf page. This is only done if you have an engine failure for us. Yeah, so I put it into the perf page. It's not the it's the engine out go around altitude. So like you say, this is only here in case we have an engine failure, and then the aircraft will automatically accelerate at 3,000. It would ignore this one over here. Too much definition and not enough haze. Yeah, that could be it. Yep. Yeah, something about the formations. I'm sure they can fix it. I hope they can. But this is really nice. This is spot on. Flattened areas, a few fluffy bits. But you just get all these little blobs, lots of little circles. And same up here. That's perhaps a little bit less how I'd expect it. Appearance says, why radio said Barrow? What did I do? I put it in MDA. So that is Barrow. Yeah. Because we're doing a non-precision. Yeah, I'd do radio if we were doing a low... Sorry, not doing non-precision. We're doing a Cat 1. If I was doing a Cat 2 or a low visibility procedure, then I'd do the radio, the DH, the height. Different SOP, says VMCG. Indeed. Indeed. Yeah, everyone's got their own, every airline's got their own way. It's a hard thing to swap airlines when you're flying the same aeroplane in one airline and then the other, because you'll have different ideas in your head about how to operate it. It's easier to change airline and aeroplane at the same time, because then it's all new to you, so you can just learn it that way. Mr. Flight Simulator says, what's your first impression? Yeah, I like it. I think it's fine. I think if you come from X-Plane 11, there's no reason not to be happy with it. If you haven't been keen on Microsoft Flight Simulator, but if you're coming here for the graphics, then you're not gonna find it overshadowing Flight Simulator. Microsoft Flight Simulator still is the best on the graphics, but this is a lovely simulator for airliners. There's no doubt about it. That's for me, anyway. That's my opinion on it so far. Still haven't heard any air traffic. Where's Air France going? Oh, they're keeping up with us. We should be accelerating past them at our altitude. Is X-Plane good for little planes too? That depends. There are some amazing add-ons, and you can get scenery, but if you're going to do little planes and fly around looking at the ground, then you're going to want to get... Oh, that's a strange effect. Then you're going to want to get like Orbex scenery or something, so you can only, and then you're limited to those areas. You're going to spend a lot of money. Microsoft Flight Simulator just downloads it all as it goes, so I wouldn't bother in X-Plane. I would take my general aviation flying into Microsoft, yeah, personally. Again, these are all opinions. There'll be people who do things differently. I'm not going to be outdone by an Air France cruising below us, so let's go up to... maybe he's got better tailwind. Decimal 8. We're supposed to have a 30 knot tailwind, so that might be why he might have the real weather. Ah, I see. Sorry, I see what the question was. As VPG's answered it there. Newest boxes say Barrett and radio now. I think ours have all been updated that way. I've done about 20 Airbus SOPs over the years. I gave up a while ago. Yeah, that's it. They keep changing. Leave it like you found it. Keep girls and boys in the back happy and limit ASRs from them. That's it. That's all you can do. As little paperwork as possible is the mission of all pilots. Lauren says London South is currently aligned, so you ought to sort out the star. Oh no. Oh no. Thanks for the heads up, Lauren V. Yeah, well, we don't have any star. I'm not going out to Tosfer. That's it, isn't it? So the problem is they obviously can't descend you low enough here for Luton due to Heathrow and Northolt and City. So you come high in over London, high over Stansted, and then you descend on the north side. That's what would fly then. So that is via Undug or Mayfield and is called the Undug 1 November. Ah, this is bad. Why didn't I update the database? I totally forgot. Why did they change the arrivals to Luton? I don't know how long we can blag that for until we get found out. The charts are up to date. Here's a plan. Here's a plan. There's not so many waypoints. Thanks, Graham, for the subscription. Right, here's the plan. Don't tell anyone. We're going to build that star ourselves. Nothing wrong with building a star. You can't fiddle with approaches in the box. You can't just write your own approach and then fly it down to the runway. That's totally not allowed. But what we can do is get rid of the star. So just put RS25. Insert. No, it's not going to get rid of it. Undug's in there actually. Undug, then we should go to Mayfield. Mayfield. Then Vaton, there we go. It's just renamed. Vaton, Ozot. Right, so that's all the bits I should have put in. So let's put in the Bamba 1 Lima again. That's what we were doing. That solves it. Now, is it via Laurel? Where is this Laurel point? Zagso. Let's try Laurel. Insert. Right. Ah, I see. Okay. That on Brickman's Park. So that on. Right, I'll forget that. Yeah, forget that. Brickman's Park. And then Illock. So this is the part they're modifying. Now, the only problem is here, it's not going to recognise it yet. Oh. I'm not writing the coordinates. I'm not doing it. This is, it looks like to me, the RNAV, the radio navigation version. So, yeah, you could fly this using the VOR, I suppose. It's not even close to that, to that one. Brickman's Park is probably close to Illock. Sorry, Barkway is. Barkway's somewhere here, isn't it? And then we'll just do that. I really hope we don't have to fly most of that. We shall see. We're overtaking our friend. That's good news. Always important. Sending about 80 miles. That's good. So yeah, I think we're pretty much set up. Does the chart have lat longs? No, it doesn't seem to. That'll be a lot of info. Yeah, but that would be the way to solve it. Thanks, Jose, for the subscription. The MCG says, unable to equipment, can I get vectors, please? Yeah, I may have to resort to that. We'll see. The new start is the split traffic between Sunset and Luton. Thanks, Wild One more. There you go. Dreaming Rain says, waypoint's got to be defined somehow by a VOR radio or something. No, so this is an RNAV. That's what they've changed it to, which gives them the freedom to just do whatever. Yeah. So, I mean, I can get to Illock. We could give it a good go. Maybe we'll do it ourselves. Brickman's Park VOR, which is in here. What I'll do is I'll tune the Brickman's Park VOR 1175. No, well, it will tune it later. It's the wrong one for now. We're too far away. And then we'll fly away from it for 14.9 miles. And then I'll put it into track FBA and track 023, then 304. So the Oxdove is 27 miles away. So 27 miles, we'll then make a left turn 304. And then we're into problems. We'll hope we'll get vectors from there. Yeah, there's an idea. Lauren V. Yeah, Lauren V's got to get on there. Build waypoints in Brickman's Park. So we could do BPK slash. Oh. 04615. Plan. There it is. Shows you the difference. Insert. And then we go Papa Bravo Delta 01, which is our reference point, slash 023 12.4. I think it does decimals. Yes, it does. Oh, we're all over this. We're not going to fly it now. This is going to be really upsetting. Then we're going to go PBD 02 304 16.7. Oh, thank you, Laura V. This is the answer. Oh. 304 16.7. I know this is the exciting entertainment you'll tune in for. Me getting in trouble with air traffic control and desperately scrabbling around to make it work. Excellent. So how's that looking? Yes, look at this. It's a much bigger arrival, actually, so I can see how, yeah, it's separating. James Atkinson, thanks so much for $3.20 tip. Really appreciate it. I see what you did there. Thank you so much. Very kind, James. Hope you're doing very well. Thanks for joining us again today and for supporting the channel. I hope you're doing very well this Christmas. Really, really appreciate it. Thanks for your support over the year. Right, Papa Bravo Delta we're on to 03. Which is this one now, right? Yep. 285, 13.5. Papa Bravo Delta 04. Ah! It unravels Zagzo we need now, which is the holding point. Zagzo is about in the middle, so I can actually base it on not 4, let's base it on 3. That's 30. No, this isn't to scale, you couldn't really do this. 285, it's a bit more to the right, let's do 286 at, what would that be? 6.5. There it is. Oh, this is great. Let me get rid of that point. From there, now how does that link to the approach? It doesn't really. PBD04 should be overfly. Great one, thank you. Yep, lovely. Excellent. Oh wow, well, this is all over. They'll never know exactly. Is there an initial approach chart? So there is an initial approach chart, but it is an area nav, and I don't want to have to put it in. Yeah, Zagzo, it is. That's what we have to do. Oh, so Zagzo is PBD 05. So let's do. Now this is getting a little bit freeform because I actually made up Zagzo. Anyway, PBD 05, 170, 6.6. I'm going to leave a discontinuity. Let's put it there. And insert it. So that should be effort. Yeah, effort, and then 179, 5.6. In the meantime, we'll fly right overhead. Look at that, 1 decimal place, and it's all unravelled. So I'm sure there's quite a high chance of an error somewhere in all this. Let's put that in progress. How far away from we from Luton? Okay, good. We're still okay. Right, we got that. We got that. Effort. We got GWN. Oh, what a pain. Now it's going to be 232 4.9. Thanks for the subscription, Salvid. .4 164 3.4. If they give us a different arrival, I'm going to not do it. Declare a mayday. Ooh, 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 ooh. No. Careful now. Don't want to mess this up. Don't want to lose all our hard work. Never done this before. B, B, D. Oh, here it goes. No. What am I doing? 09. Which is there. 085, 6.1. Yep. Oh, finally. Right, last one. $164.5. Forget Buster. Forget Laurel. Forget DD8. Forget Laurel again. Forget Brooks Park 12. Set to fix. Look at this. Amazing. We've done it. Well, I hope that was entertaining. Thank you all for watching. Oh dear. Right. Now let's try and put it all into practice with the boss. 29425.
Inbound on 170 miles away. Austrian 90, London Control, good evening. Maintain flight level 370, route direct to Conan. Maintaining 370, direct to Conan, Austrian 90.
Luton's got an ATIS. That's bad news.
Total 6 Golf 1, Uniform 1228, have a nice evening, cheerio. G'day mate, Spivver 16 Golf Mike.
They're using 2.5, that's all we needed. We'll copy that down in just a moment.
Climbing 6,000 and move for 1 Mike.
Right down by the seat of your pants, indeed, dreaming rain.
77 Yankee, London, thank you. Climb down flight level 290. This is level 290, 77 Yankee. T9 Papa Golf, contact Brussels 131.1, cheers, well fine.
131.1 for EV 9 schöne Weihnachten, ciao.
Ciao.
Show track 179.
It's busy, busy.
179, London Control, good evening, Roger.
London, good evening, Manta 321, flight level 340 to Subip. If that waypoint exists still.
That, please?
Manta 321.
Is it like a manta ray?
That's the one.
Fabulous. Manta 321, squawk 5705.
Thank you, squawk 5705, Manta 321.
164, descend altitude 4,000 feet,
Five.
1004.
Ooh.
103,
705. I feel like this controller has got our number already. Oh dear.
Kilo, taxi by Alpha Hold Alpha 3.
Marks, just get vectors now. Yeah, we will. Yeah. Gabriel says, does the real thing accept decimal points when doing PBD? I think Felix doesn't, but not sure. I've never tried. I couldn't tell you. This is a really nice fit of MCDU, so it could be a little bit. Maybe, I'm sure it's possible. If ToLiss have done it, I believe it, but whether or not it's, oh no, that'll be us in a second, not finding waypoints. We're gonna have to search through, when he says it's direct somewhere, we'll have to search through our numbers and try and rework it out. But yeah, whether it accepts decimal points, I don't know, I've never tried. Never tried.
Turn left by 15 degrees.
Sorry, was that for 9010 Charlie?
Austrian 90, turn left by 15 degrees, report the new heading.
So, gives us a landing time 15:17, 14:37, so about half an hour. Not bad. Time to descend.
15 degrees.
Turn left by 15 degrees.
4.9 tons at the start of descent, no problem.
Are you able to redirect to Rocksock?
Landing maximum 77.8, so we are now below max landing weight 77. That's good.
That's a negative.
Is it tuned? 10915.
Have you got an INS on that?
India Lima Juliet, an INS. Imagine.
I have an INS, yes. Do you have the GPS, the Latin launch?
There you go. Yeah.
To hand out. So in this case, we'll go to a 901 to a
Right.
Let's go direct to Ockham actually, and I'm descend down flight level 200.
Okay, direct Ockham and flight level 200, speed 9010 Charlie.
Is that Concorde then?
1243, contact London 127.1.
London Easy 845.
James Cooper, goodness me. James is super chatted £100. James. Unbelievable. Oh, thanks so much. James says, hello. Finally made a stream. Sorry, it's been a while. Great time for your Christmas present. Hope you and the family are doing well. James, that's so generous. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And
November arrival for Luton. Descend now, flight level 200, level by Mayfield.
Undug 1 November. Descend level 200 by Mayfield. Manta 321. Yes. Yes. It's all working. They'll never know. 200 by Mayfield. That is in there. First line open descent. Outblue 200. Put into managed descent. Speeds. We're a little bit high for that now, of course. Yeah, James. Thank you so much. Very, 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 very generous. Really, really appreciate it. And I hope you're doing very well. And a Merry Christmas to you. But thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for being part of the community. And thank you for that incredibly, incredibly generous super chat. Really, really appreciate it.
207 under control, good evening. Climb flight level 290.
Yeah, far too kind. Far too kind.
45, climb flight level 370 and continue heading.
Up 370, continuing on headed.
179, continue present heading.
James, the same as last year, starting tradition. That's very kind. It's I can't believe it's been a year since our last Christmassy sort of streams. Yeah, unbelievable. But yeah, that's again. Thanks so much, James. Really, really, very, very kind. I hope you're doing very well.
Climb flight level 360.
Don't know what to say. Indeed, the other Jason, they'll never know. If only that had been a hot mic. Yeah. Again, I think this controller is suspicious. I feel like he knows we are a potential nuisance. Let's put it to managed descent. There. Des. And now let it accelerate a bit because it knows it's high. It's 2,200 feet high. I want to make that restriction at Mayfield for the controller. Lauren B says, why does that feel so clunky to me now? Across Mayfield at 200 feels way simpler. It's because of the conditional start. So it's when they say descend when ready to a flight level, and then they have to add in the next bit, the crossing or whatever. Yeah, yeah.
207, contact Brussels 131.1. Good night.
Now, I wouldn't normally use speed brakes up here because I would say, well, we did our best and they gave us a descent late. But they could say, well, you should have asked for descent earlier because you know what those expected descent points are. So as the controller's putting up with this very nicely, speed brakes coming out. Remember, you get full speed braking on the 321, even with the autopilot in. Duncan, thanks so much. Duncan Ferry has very kindly super chatted £5. Really appreciate it, Duncan. Duncan says, thanks for the stream. Merry Christmas to you. My son Teddy and I have loved joining from Closters, but it's time for bed. Could you wish him good night? Duncan, thanks so much for your super chat. Really, really appreciate it. Thanks for supporting the channel. Thanks for being here. Glad you've enjoyed it. And good night to your son, Teddy. Good night, Teddy. I hope you sleep very well and have a very great Christmas coming up. It's very close now. So, yeah, really appreciate it. That's very kind of you, Duncan. Really, very, very kind. Good night to you both. Right, there we go. Speed brake's very effective at these speeds.
I'm trying to get hold of you. Are you there?
Who's that? Not us, is it?
90, are you able to climb 380?
Speed brake's going away. Now, our descent speeds are quite high. So, let's see what it's planned at. Yeah, it's planned descent at 322. Okay, that's okay. We'll just stick with that.
390 descent now, flight level 350.
Thrust idle.
Descent 350.
But yeah, thank you again, Duncan, for the very kind donation, and thank you, James, as well, for that incredibly generous donation to James. Very, very kind. Lauren Reed says, oh, we'll just add pilot's discretion at the beginning. Yes, indeed, yeah. That's a good way to do it. Alex Bree says, Merry Christmas, Captain. Just wondering whether X-Plane 12 has a weather radar. No. Not that we're seeing so far that works particularly well. Anyway.
353 London, hello, Squawk 03.
Right, here's something we need to do. We can put some of these limits now. So, 250 at Brickman's Park. Yep, it's got that. Next limit is 80 at Zagzo.
845, route to direct Bognor.
Route direct Bognor.
845 sounds busy in the background. PB05 is 220 knots, 80.
845, just confirm maintaining flight level 370, please. I haven't actually got the read back on the level.
Roger, we are clear. We are maintaining 37,000 knots.
Thank you.
Ah, he's doing his best. He's got. You can hear the noise in the background. Right, let's insert those restrictions. You could rename these points, by the way, if I was really, you want to be really advanced. Oh, I don't. There we go. Speed up star. Speed brakes away. So that's good. Oh, and that point needs to be 220 03.
353, squawk 0364.
220.
Right numbers, just in the wrong order.
Well, that's the way with squawks. They're never in the right order.
Merry Christmas.
I have a real bugbear. Not bugbear. I have an irrational thought about squawks. When you take off with a squawk and then they change it in the flight, I never understand why, and that's purely because I don't understand it and I don't know anything about it. But I always think, why don't I get to use the same squawk the whole flight?
321, descend now, flight level 160.
So now flight level 160, Manta 321.
2 Papa Charlie, climb initially, flight level 150.
160, Des, speed Des, out blue, 160.
944, stop climb, flight level 130.
Okay, what's it doing? What's it doing? What's it doing? It's not going down. Don't want to get shouted at. Thrust open descent. Let's do it in VS for now. We've got plenty of miles. Oh.
Sharko 8 kilo, holding Alpha 3.
Kilo, roger, I'll call you back to standby.
Right, next restrictions from 6 and 7 are 80220 knots. Seven is
91 Quebec Whiskey, climb flight
8.
level 180.
Oh no, hold on.
For 180, do you know about Quebec Whiskey?
53, descend now, flight level 90, good rate please.
Yeah, that's fine. 7 is 6,000 feet. 220.
Thank you, Kilo 27 right, clear for takeoff, wind 2208 knots.
Clear for takeoff, 27 right 8, shuttle 8 kilo.
5,000 is going to be at 08.
Clear to Echo Foxtrot Romeo.
5,185
You don't need to read it back, just read it and reply, or like, call me when you're ready.
at 10.
Departure, initial climb 6,000. X squawk code is 107.
5,185.
Didn't need to read it back, sir.
Okay, sorry.
Thank you.
Everyone's having a long evening. I feel like this sounds to me like an evening where like everyone is absolutely exhausted and tired of being at work, but everyone's doing this for fun. Oh dear, I know the feeling. I know the feeling. There's that commitment once you start on VATSIM that you're gonna stick it out. Right, that's the restrictions in, so hopefully we don't embarrass ourselves. However, we may well. It's a quote in that new film, in the new Avatar film. I help them to learn so they can save themselves the embarrassment of being useless. I really like that. Was that for us? Let's hope not. Dreamy Rain says, AGC about ready to start wishing Merry Christmas with the tone that implies they do not wish a Merry Christmas. Yeah, we shall see. The Jason says, I live on a train track, so sometimes even a train horn. Excellent, that would be good. Laramie says, starting Monday, squawks in the US now start auto assigning. There's going to be a little bit of chaos. Yes, I bet there is. Big change like that.
Appreciate the help.
The other Jason says, I love the random background sounds and characters you get missing. Absolutely. It's all part of the tapestry of life, isn't it? Absolutely. James Cooper says, my missus is flying on an A320 this week to visit family. She's watched several of your streams as well and will know your voice. Ask her to shake your hand for me if it happens to be you. I can't believe she's also watching the streams. Yeah, well, absolutely. Thanks, James. Of course, she may end up approaching a...
321, contact London, 127.1. Have a good night.
127.1, Manta 321. Thanks for your help. Good night.
Manta 321.
What's going on here? Apologies, there we go. Yeah, Manta 321, we will go to 127.1. Thanks for your help and good night.
Super 1844, climb
I don't know what happened there. I do know what happens. My command for transmit now, in the latest version, is set to a key command for X-plane. So I have to actually be clicked on the X-plane screen, not my chat screen. So hopefully he heard that one. Sent a really nice message. Got cheerio at the end.
Easy 271 Mike, resume your navigation direct to Pole Hill.
Direct Pole Hill for Easy 271 Mike.
Christopher Saul says he's brilliant. Yeah, he's very good.
London
133.7, Easy 271 Mike. See ya.
Cheers, bye. Easy.
We better get Luton as well, though.
Contact London on
Sounds like we're in control all the way in.
133.7, bye-bye. 133.7, bye-bye.
Just gonna make a note of it now before we jump to they're using information. Foxtrots.
Green Star
25. Don't worry about the weather too much. QNH 1003, but we're going to ignore that. We're going to use the QNH we know to be true, the 1013. That's going to mess everything up. And that's it, temperature 6. So I'm going to read back 1003, but please remind me to set 1013. 10 millibars out would be enough to cause a problem. Yeah, enough to cause a problem. Hayden J. Revens, thank you Hayden for the £3.19 super chat. The Bell Jet Ranger is out for Microsoft Flight Simulator, just saying. Excellent, thanks so much Hayden. Really appreciate the support. Thanks for supporting the channel over the years. Didn't we fly? We flew the Bell, but I need to practice the Bell. I need to get the controls assigned and the trim. But thanks so much. Thanks for supporting the channel and thank you for that super chat. I see what you did there indeed. Although we are in the 21 today, unfortunately my thumbnail's wrong Hayden. As we are the Manta 321. I thought it was obligatory to fly the 321. So sorry, but there you go. Thank you so much. Right, we better check in now. London Manta 321, flight level 160 to Brookmans Park.
By Blue Max 9823, left 330 degrees, climb level 340. Left 330 degrees, climb lane table about 340, Blue Max 9823. Mike X-ray 321 London, hello, descend flight level 90. Check your microphone, nothing's coming out of it.
Descend, flight level 90, Manta 321, thank you, sorry.
321, no worries, contact Stansted radar 120625, bye-bye.
120625, Manta 321, bye-bye.
It's Chanix 84 Juliet Whiskey, contact London Control on 129.42.
Oh dear, we're pushing it tonight.
129.45.
Right, Stansted, Foxtrot, forgotten the arrival. But yeah, thank you again Hayden, thank you Duncan, thank you James for those very kind donations, really appreciate it. Right, Foxtrot, what was the name of our arrival?
Well, yeah, sorry, thank you. Climb flight level 110. 110, around 170.
Right, let's get this right. Stansted, good evening, Manta 321, descending flight level 90 on a, we're on the Undug 1 November.
Station calling, how do you pronounce your call sign again?
Manta 321.
Manta 321, Stansted radar, good evening. It's going to be vectors for ILS approach runway 25 at Luton. Continue descending flight level 90.
Descend flight 190, expecting ILS 25 at Luton, Manta 321. I keep thinking we're going to Stansted. Checkpoint says, do I hear New Year's resolutions? This is the base game, the ground here. So yeah, that's what you get. No Orbex or anything yet, for I haven't got any of that. Look at the lighting, it's such a step up. Right, we're getting all distracted here with their traffic, but I think we're doing okay. He said vectors, so my only thought is, what if we go straight in, 16 miles, you know, we're high to go straight in. So the efficient way, right, would be to do such a super gradual descent that we can keep continuous descent. But I'm actually going to get down to 90, thrust 11%, so that we're ready for the vectors. Because vectors, He hasn't told us to hold, he hasn't told us anything, so we're probably going to not do any of our beautiful start. Look at that, we put all that in. I'm so proud of that. Yeah, the weather radar has improved, actually, hasn't it? Yeah. There we go.
Under 321, turn left heading 340 degrees.
Left heading 340 degrees, Manta 321. So it begins.
London radar, good evening.
Now we are heavy, so it's tricky.
Holding short runway 22, Romeo 1 ready for takeoff.
Not that much. Oh, it really whizzes around, isn't it? 340. Now we are heavy. It's hard to slow down a heavy 321. Using speed brakes would, in the real one, would bring that BLS. There it goes, yeah. So it can be tricky. Oh, we have the increased flap speed, so that's good. That solves it. This is a well-equipped one. Some of the 321s don't have these higher speeds, so flap 1 is 230 knot limit, and then you get into a bit of trouble. So we may well, we're going through the centre line now, but we could get turned in early. Let's get the passengers sat down, just in case. Hayden says, the Jet Ranger is not the default Microsoft Flight Simulator heli, it's a different payware beast. Okay. Oh, we'll have to see how it looks. Marks a study level Huey would be nice. Yes, they're very cool. James says that obviously there's several UK airlines using the A320. If I had to choose, I'd go EasyJet for the guarantee. I'd be the last off on landing to ask very nicely to see the real cockpit. There you go. I'm sure they would have no trouble showing you the cockpit after landing, unless there's something serious going on.
Ryanair 44 kilo airborne.
Ryanair 44 kilo, roger, climb now, flight level 110.
Right.
Victor flight level 110.
Well, a bit early for the approach checklist. Let's see what we can do. Briefing's confirmed. ECAM status is checked. It's in good shape. Seatbelts are on, but we can't do the barrier ref yet, so we'll wait and see.
Romeo Papa, turn left, heading 270 degrees.
Okay, we said all that beautiful work on the approach procedure lost effective. Indeed, I know. Look at that. That's a masterpiece. That is really nice. So yeah, if you go data. Oh, I haven't done this in a long time. Waypoints, idents, Papa, Bravo, Delta, let's pick 04.
321, descend to altitude 6,000 feet, Luton QNH 1003.
Descend, altitude 6,000 feet, QNH 1003, Manta 321. Right, we won't fiddle around with that now. Let's get rid of that. But yeah, you can save them in there and then recall them later in the real aircraft.
Ryanair 44 kilo, don't stop, continue all the way to flight level 110.
6,000. Let's do, he didn't.
Stopping all the way
400 feet per minute.
Ryanair 44 kilo.
Say QNH. Now he said 1003.
Runway 22 cleared for takeoff, surface wind 200 degrees, 5 knots.
We're going 1013.
Clear for takeoff, Ryanair 490.
There we go.
And 321, turn left, heading 240 degrees.
Left heading 240 degrees. Manta 321. 240. Big turn. It's happening.
44 kilo, nothing further from me, for the climb
Through 10,000 feet. LS buttons on. Fuel is still good. 4.4 plus 5. That adds up to 9.9. So no fuel leak. Plenty of fuel for the arrival. Looks like we're getting our vectors in now. Into Lima Juliet. So we've got barrier ref of 1013. We know that's wrong, but right in its own way. 708 MD8. Engine mode selected to norm. As the approach is complete. So we're going to point straight at the runway here. So this is where the progress page is the most useful. George says, hi, I'm flying the Q4XP to Heathrow. You convinced me to buy it. It was yours.
Continue left-hand turn, heading 180 degrees.
Left heading 180 degrees. Manta 321. Yeah, thanks so much. Enjoy the Q4XP. I really want to fly it on stream. Once I get my controls set up, I will be streaming that one again. Absolutely love it. Right, Luton is 21 miles away. We need to do 3 degrees from here to get down there, but we're doing 250 knots. We're actually high. Thrust side open descent.
A321 taxis, well, from your behind, right, left to right, your push inside is approved.
Thanks, Better Pilot, for the subscription. James, it's different time nowadays. I remember being 10 on Monarch Airlines going to Menorca and being on the flight deck on cruise. Me too, I remember that. But yeah, not possible anymore. It is a shame. It is a real shame. John Studio says, hey, how is X-Plane 12 in its current release? Is it worth purchase? That's a personal thing. I like it, but if you're depends what you're in it for. If you're in it for the graphics, the scenery on the ground I don't think is particularly good. But the airplanes and the lighting have improved a lot over X-Plane 11. If you're invested in Microsoft Flight Simulator, it's going to be a personal choice. Depends if there's a specific airplane you want. If you do like airliner flying, the good thing about X-Plane is all the airports are nice with they're all customized by, lots of them are customized by people. So the default airports are quite good. But there's other things people like, the handling, the integration with hardware. These things are all very good in X-Plane. But yeah, hard to say. It's hard to say whether you should or shouldn't get it. It is very personal. So all I recommend is just watch the stream, see what you think.
KLM 244, Sunset Radar, you with me?
Mark says 320 Sim pilots crying after all his hard work, indeed.
Sunset Radar, good evening.
Tenor Pilot says, flying for the Orange Airline, always happy to let people see after landing. There you go. There you go, exactly. It's nice. People are enthusiastic. It's an enjoyable thing. Right, I'm definitely slowing down. We don't want to keep screaming in this fast now. We're getting high as well. Manage speed. Approach phase active. 15 miles out. 6,000 feet. This is going to, unless he gets us descent soon, we're going to have real trouble here. 500 feet elevation. So we're about 5,500 feet up. 15 miles. So we can do it from here, but we've got to start configuring how this is going to work. Okay, flaps 1. Landing lights on.
Report ready for push. Break. KLM 244, Sunset Radar, you with me?
244 is with you.
KLM 244, please contact me next time.
Oh, we're going to be really high.
Runway 22, clear for takeoff, surface wind 200 degrees 5
See, he's been focusing on that now.
Next time, KLM 244 approved for departure.
Right, 97 Romeo
Papa. Oh, this isn't good. Right, speed's good. Let's get flap 2 out. All we can do is prepare ourselves. He hasn't given us a speed, so slowing down is sensible.
490, nothing further from me. Unicorn 122.8. Bye-bye.
I'm going to drop it right back.
Center 321, sorry about you. Descent altitude 3,000 feet. I'll take you south and then bring you back in to intercept.
Send 3,000 feet. That's copy. Thanks, Manta 321. No problem. 3,000 feet. 1003, Manta 321. Right, 3,000 feet. Thrust slide open descent, and now we can wind the speed up. 180 knots, and with a drag of flap 2, we'll descend very quickly. Might use a bit of speed brake. If he's going to take us through, though, the reality is now we've sort of missed our chance. With 5,000, we're about 3 miles, so we're about 1,000 feet high. We could have done it, but he's told us what he's going to do. I'm not going to use the speed brakes even. There's no point. We're going to have loads of them now. I'm just going to keep 180 knots and pull the BS. Because once you're committed to getting the extra miles, a loop is going to be... It depends what he's going to do, actually. If he's going to... He said from the south. He might not do what we're thinking.
And climb now, flight level 110, please.
Hayden says, I tried to send a 2p super chat to upgrade from 19 to 21, but YouTube won't allow it. Well, thanks for trying, Hayden. I appreciate it.
Negative 110.
I have been having issues with live weather today, don't be? Yeah. There you go. We're on profile, 180 knots, 11 miles out. Very comfortable position now.
244, climb to flight level
winding that up.
KLM 244, climbing to flight level 110.
Manta 321, turn right, heading 290 degrees, cleared ILS approach, runway 25 at Luton.
Right heading 290 degrees, cleared ILS 25 at Luton, Manta 321. Let's go back on the speed, because that's going to just reduce our turn radius, which will put us in a better position to intercept, because we're now going the wrong way, so we don't want to be going too fast here. I say the wrong way, you know what I mean, we're pointing away from the runway. 2,000 feet, so we're good on the profile, speed at 160, that's all good. Yeah, this is looking nice. That's the magic of a straightforward...
Down to 2,000 feet, having left 180
just, you know, how easy was that, just extending the miles, yeah.
Sorry for it being so tight, cleared ILS approach runway 22.
Right, let's just put in the direct
I think we can make it cleared for ILS
CF, just to sequence the flight plan. But I need to pull the heading again, 290. We've got the India Lima Juliet, let's arm the approach and the second order pilot. Here's my
altitude 1,500 feet further with the glide.
Send 1,500 feet further with glide, Manta 321. Here we go, it's getting exciting.
Do you think we're going to make it, or should I take you out?
No, that'll be fine, Manta 321.
Music to my ears, thank you.
No problem. Yeah, that's absolutely fine, because Yes, yes, it sounds it. It's
Ryanair 27 Romeo Papa.
Just an open descent.
Flight level 80, which you're already at.
We're on the profile. Let's drop the gear. This is getting busy. 8 miles out though. We're going to intercept there. We're already on the profile. Speed's back. I'm not too worried. Let's go to VS 1000 should cover us. We're going to get to flaps 3 just to give us some margin on that VLS. James, thanks so much for the £50 super chat. I'm so sorry I'm missing it. It's got very busy suddenly, but thank you. Really appreciate it, James. I'll talk about it when we get on the ground, if that's all right. James says, this one's for the first officer. Hopefully a decent supply of Dreamies for a while. Maybe a kiddie stocking if you can get to the shop. Look forward to the photos on Discord. Merry Christmas and have a safe night. James, thanks so much. Far too kind. Yeah, really, really appreciate it. And, the first officer would appreciate it too. There's Lockstar. We're below the profile. 7 miles, no problem. This is all good. 2,600 feet. Yeah. Oh, this is a good light. Look at this lighting. Yeah, sun in your eyes. This is what it does. So we are in a good place now. Glide slip star. Put the gun actually 3,000 feet. Clear to land, runway 25. Manta 321. Right. We're clear to land. Gears down. Arm nose. Lights. Lights. Let's go flaps full. Manage speeds. Going on to the cabin. They've had plenty of time. Landing checklist. Cabin is secure. Water thrust is in speed mode. Going actually 3,000 feet is blue. Eco memo is landing no blue. Landing checks complete. So 321 landing. We need to limit the pitch to 7.5 degrees on landing. We're going to go max reverse, medium auto brake. Now it is a dry runway now, I think, but that's what we're going to do. Are they just like sort of wintry trees? Or is that just the lighting? I think they do have seasons, don't they? Yeah. But yeah, James, thanks so much for that very kind super chat. Really, really, again, far too generous. Thanks for supporting the channel, and indeed, the first of us will enjoy the Dreamies. Right, here we go then. 1000. Stabilised. Quite late because they're actually on a hill here, so there we go. Anyway, 1000, stable. Here we go. So short runway, 7.5 degrees. Got to get in the touchdown zone. Margin isn't that great. We do have light winds as well. E-Boss, good evening. Thanks for joining us. I hope you're doing very well. Joined at just the right time. I like a slightly more zoomed in view than the default ToLiss one. Good. Right, so now that sun's just getting low enough for us to be able to carry on. Autopilot off. Ah, my autopilot off is not assigned. Interesting. Don't know why that is. Good job we found that out there. Coming quite a low pitch, pitch 0. So we're a bit fast, really. Suggests the speeds are slightly and the weights are actually slightly different from each other. Now this is a case of get it on the ground in the touchdown zone. I'm not going to obsess too much. Oh, you can see it is wet actually. Yeah, we don't want to float here. Not in Luton. Idle. There we go, come on. And spoilers. Okay, manual brakes. Max reverse. Decel. 70 knots, reverse idle. There we go. Yeah, wider sort of runway. That led to, that was a bit of a high flare there. Hence the float. Right, reverse idle. Made the intersection. Let's vacate here. Welcome to Luton. Forward idle. Yeah, there were no seasons in X-Men 11, were they? So yeah, those trees do look different. Love the lighting. The light is such a step up. Really, really happy with that.
321, welcome to Luton, taxi stand of choice.
Thank you, taxi stand of choice, Manta 321. Thanks for your help.
No worries, have a good evening. Break easy 986, runway 25, clear
Oh.
for takeoff.
Yeah, excellent controller. Working a lot of airports there. Flaps to 0. Tracks. Get the APU up and running. Get the lights off.
Ryanair 61 Whiskey Delta, request taxi. Ryanair 61 Whiskey Delta, taxi Delta, Hotel Sierra.
Excellent.
01.
Delta Hotel Sierra.
People not a fan of the graphics. Yeah, it's not. No one should say sorry. This is why I show these sims. It's up to you. Again, lighting is definitely. I mean, I'm comparing it to X-Plane 11. Big step up.
Sorry, say again for Ryanair 2817.
I think that looks quite nice, really. But we're sort of spoiled by Microsoft Flight Simulator, which graphically has just been in a league of its own. Oh, strobes are on. Now we're going to stand of our choice. I'm going to sneak around here. This is a default airport, so again, the default airport's a real treat by comparison. James, I must say thank you again for your very kind donations today. Yeah, I really don't know what to say. Just really appreciate it. Merry Christmas to you. Right. Oh. What's going on here?
I think I'm calling standby just a second.
Someone's getting Discord notifications.
Ryanair 27 Romeo Papa, runway 22 clear to land, surface.
Tight taxiways, these. You're not far off it here, but your main wheels are a long way behind you. Right. Let's go and park over and right terminal. Oh, my chat's way behind, so I can only apologise about that.
Echo Tango Bravo 404. What is your audio call sign?
Yeah. Where's the bright orange? Hang on. I don't think it's. I assume it's not here, as this is default. There's some traffic departing. That's cool. Good old bat sim. There's the car parks.
404, thank you for that. Clear to Dublin. Nugbo 1 Romeo departure, runway 22.
Controller's working so hard. George, thanks for coming along. See you next time. Nice delivery. The Mentor has landed. Thanks, Evos. Yeah, indeed, the Mentor has landed. Yeah, sorry about the chat there. My chat's doing that thing where it disappears behind, and I have to. It just suddenly loads it all in at once. I probably missed quite a lot there. Right. Let's take this stand here. It's got a little covered walkway. Yeah, this is amazing for a default airport. In the wet, this would be a total nightmare. Lights off.
Roger, holding position behind the arriving aircraft. Line up, runway 22 behind Emirates 922.
Brake fans on. Really cooked those brakes.
Ryanair 86, report your passing altitude. Climb now, flight level 80.
Passing 3,000 feet, climb now, flight level 80, easy 986.
Parking shots. Oh, that was close. All the distractions at the wrong moment. Right, there we go, on the line, brakes set, shutting down.
Nothing further from me, Unicom 122 decimal 8, bye-bye.
And here's some things we can't do in Microsoft. We can actually shut down and have a replay. What a treat.
Happy holidays.
Although I said that last time and then the sim crashed, so let's see how it happens. So, yeah, there we go. Thank you all for joining us. Welcome to Luton. I hope you've enjoyed it. So, yeah, it's, you know, this is going to be a personal thing, whether you think X-Plane 12 is for you. This is just a stream just to show it to you, really. If you haven't bought it, you can see what you think. If you're on the fence, maybe you're wondering. I'm not here to recommend or not recommend anything. And I bought this, you know, so it's, yeah, what do I think of it? I think it's perfectly fine. I think it's a nice improvement over 11. Like, if you ignore Microsoft Flight Simulator, it's a nice improvement. If you're trying to compare it and there's things you want, then you can sort of pick and choose. What I like about X-Plane is just this, how easy it is to get in and out of the sim. That's particularly useful for me when I'm setting up streams and videos and so on. I can load up, get the thumbnail and so on without the 20-minute sort of experience that I get with Microsoft Flight Simulator. But that is not really the focus of most people. I also like the handling. I really like the current, the wet runways, as I was saying, the rain effects. These are all very, very good. And the aircraft do fly. They do fly really nicely. Dislike some of the cloud effects that still need some work. The autogen and the grounds is just not really what it's all about. But yeah, I do find those sort of just really... It's a shame because Microsoft just really treated us too well there. It just looks so stunning. So I'd like to see that step up a bit. And I'd like to see the flight decks get brighter. I'd like to have... yeah, I don't know why... well, sun at the right angle, and when the sun's setting, you can sometimes get this effect, which is better. But yeah, for most of the stream, it's sort of pitch black, and I don't understand why. But there's lots of great things, control profiles and that sort of stuff that all works nicely. Yeah, and ToLiss, I have nothing but nice things to say about ToLiss. This EFB, superb, nice addition. We've got the takeoff performance and the landing performance calculators now built into here. So I use the ISDS, but could have done it here. Yeah, look, this has all been added in. In fact, this has been added in since yesterday. This wasn't in the last version we had. Just fantastic. Or maybe it's not in the 19, but it is in the 21. I'm not sure. Anyway, ToLiss still supporting these products this much later. So, yeah, very impressed with that. Right, time for the replay. Excellent Maxim controllers today. They've been really good, all of them. Alt R. Now, this is where it broke last time. Let's try and do it. See, yes, this scenery, terrible. These fields, terrible. But if you don't look at them, the lighting, the clouds, the runway, nice. But that's not going to cut it for a lot of people, I'm sure. Right, no, we save that view, don't we? I'm trying to remember how we do this. So we'll do a bit of a debrief. So this was not a great landing. Overflared. So here I got overflare, too high. Runway's going up and down beneath us, and then we just sort of dunk, put it down. Now in the touchdown zone, but 1 mark before the end. Yeah. And I'll show you. You can actually see where it happens. You can see it there. Coming down just fine.
40, 30.
There. What did we get to? So we went from about 0 degrees to 5 degrees. Yeah, 5 degree flare is too much. And then straight away I realised my mistake, and I put in the nose down. And what it comes down to is, you know, I mentioned earlier. So this is a strange visual picture, right? You've got the runway upsloping on you, so it gives the impression you're sinking towards it faster, which I think, you know, that's not an excuse. That's my job to sort of compensate for that. But there it is. But what really it is as well, we came in. I think we were fast. I don't think this is an accurate approach speed. Our plane was lighter than this, so we're 1 degree. It should be about 2 degrees, 2.5 degrees. The result is, there you go, that's just nose low, which contributed to this effect of feeling like we're diving at the ground, because I'd expect the nose to be a little bit, the runway to be a little bit lower in the window and so on. Anyway, with a bit of extra speed and a bit of extra energy, what that means is the flare is more responsive. So I put in a reasonable flare there, but actually the airplane, because it's got more airflow over its controls, it just did it, and it flared and it leveled out for me, which is all I told it to do. And then we get it down, no problem. So what we're going to do, yeah, the overlay's not working, I'm afraid, so you won't get a VS on that one, which is probably a good thing. Let's go to the runway view. Here we go. Love this view. Oh, we're going to disappear behind the hill. yeah. Well, you run out of options by the end. By the end of the touchdown zone, you've just got to get it down, haven't you? That's you've lost your opportunity to be precious about it. There we go. I think the lighting and everything there is just lovely. I really do. Right, let's put the camera all the way back. Yeah, my replay has crashed the sim before. Just since the updates, it didn't work last stream, but it's worked this time. Look at that flare. That is a pronounced one. Nose down, nose down. Fine. I mean, you're in the right place, right speed. Pitch attitude's positive. You don't want to lower the nose, but you're allowed to release the pressure to let the nose come down. So I didn't push forward on the sides like any of that. Just a relaxing of it. No more than that, you see, and then done. Reverses out. Let's get stopped, which it did very quickly, actually. Very quickly. Right, let's put it back. And of course, the best thing about the ToLiss is we could have saved that on final and then just done it over and over again. Just practiced it. That was an A300 flare, indeed, yeah. E-Boss, good night. Thanks for coming along. We're going to put this back up to... Hello, first officer joining us for the very end of the flight. Hello. She's gone quiet now. Got the attention she wanted. Usually about 2,000 feet above the runway. So something like that. Which view? Which view? Which view? I think that one with the sun out that way. Okay. So, I'm going to say thank you all so much for coming along. Really, really, it's been another fantastic year. I can't believe we're back at Christmas again. I don't know if I'll manage to do a Christmas group flight or not this year. We shall see. But if you would like to know about it, Discord, I will definitely announce it, and then I may put up a community post on YouTube depending how far in advance. So joining our Discord is the best way to get notified of all these things. On the channel, there's a stream where I do a lot of failures, and we look at lots of failures in the Phoenix A320 and Microsoft Flight Simulator. So if you're interested in that, do please go and watch that, or watch bits of it. It's obviously a full live stream, but yeah, that was done on Twitch. The reason I do that is I do videos on Twitch when I'm not sure if they're going to be up to sort of the normal standard of the channel, whether it could be a bit broken up or a bit confusing. But that one I thought was quite fun and flowed quite nicely. So anyway, that's up on YouTube now if you'd like to see that. And yeah, I'm going to say thank you all so much for coming along and watching along today. Thank you to the moderators for looking after us. Thanks to those of you watching on Twitch and YouTube. Chris, thank you, appreciate it. Thanks to all those people who've kindly chatted, and of course thank you to those who've so very generously donated. Really appreciate it. It's very kind. It makes a big difference to the channel. But yeah, thank you all so much. We will see you all again soon in another video or live stream, of course. So please keep safe and well. Merry Christmas to you if you're celebrating Christmas. And yeah, I'll see you in another of these videos live streams. Really appreciate it. It's been an absolute treat today. Really enjoyed it. So thank you all so much for coming along. And yeah, let's end with the music and the replay. And yeah, thank you again to James, of course. Thank you.